broadcast. Couple of key things. Logan, 5 for 5 on fourth down. 5 for 5.
Wow.
Think about it. Just one stop could have changed the whole game, but NY couldn't get that key stop defensively. And Logan just, it seems like they just kind of imposed their will on both sides of the football. I mean, pitching a shutout and getting 5 fourth downs. It just kind of seemed like the Chieftains controlled the pace of the game. And I'm sure I'd love to hear a little bit more from Carl at some point throughout the course of the night. I'm sure I'll talk to him at some point because it did seem like a great game. But the Buckeyes, where do you go from here? You come off that big loss, and that big win. Now you eat a tough loss. So now you're in kind of this middle ground where you're in a tough spot. And, well, we're going to talk about them a lot tonight. But your main competition, the TVC Ohio, looked real good.
Yeah. TVC Ohio took a step up this evening. We'll get to more of that action. Let's just go ahead and get to some of that action. The Athens Bulldogs took it to Memorial Stadium, Gallia Academy this evening, and put it on the Blue Devils at their place, 55-6. I think we all kind of liked Athens heading into this one, but 55-6 is a big margin.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah,
and Alex Piro was doing what he does once again, putting up a number of major budget touchdowns. Braden Young had a couple with his feet and a couple in the air. Leo Martin had a touchdown. Spreading the wealth, and I think that the Bulldogs are going to continue to do that. And I will say this isn't the first team that Athens beats down like this. I truly think that Athens is going to put the hurt on a few teams this year like that.
Yeah, and this is a testament to how good that Philo team is that played them close last week as well. Because, I mean, even though Gallia might be down this year, Gallia Academy does not get beat 55-6 from Athens. That series has been close the whole time. So this is a Gallia team that's really struggling to find their identity. On the other hand, Athens knows their identity, and they're going to be going into the TVC with a vengeance this year.
I think you're exactly right, Bub. And this is a Gallia Academy squad now that has Nathan Metler, a first-year head coach, looking to get his first win still. By the way, if you're listening to us on our station, Pure Rock 99.5 BYG, welcome. You're listening to Total Media's Football Friday Nights postgame brought to you by General Mills. It's Eric, Bub, and Ethan Sargent. But boys, girls, the Gallia Academy Blue Devils have a long way up to go. A complete rebuild after they lost Coach Cole Carter. Graduated a great senior class. Make no mistake about it. It wasn't all Coach Carter. Great senior class as well a year ago. Lost a ton, but now Gallia Academy Blue Devils still going to be in search of that first win as they head into week 3. Another final in the area, kind of a shocker for us here, boys and girls. Piketon falls to the Wellston Golden Rockets, 21-19 at C.H. Jones Field. Big win for the Golden Rockets. Chris Graham and his squad defeating a Piketon squad that shut out Northwest 26-0 just a week ago. Big win here for the Rockets, Ethan.
Well, now I look stupid because I said Piketon was going to win big on the pregame show.
I got egg on our face on this one.
I felt it.
I think I don't know if he's going to show up tonight, but if Hayden Milliken shows up tonight, he might come in and he might come in and start swinging.
We're locking the door if Hayden Milliken shows up.
I know he's a Wellston guy, and I did believe that Wellston had taken a step forward this year. I've said it big time.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if they were going to be able to keep Piketon's passing attack in check today.
Yeah.
Clearly, I was wrong. So I 100%. And now look, I'm just gonna let you all know right now that I'm gonna say more incorrect things on this show and on Friday kickoff, and I'm gonna have to probably apologize a few more times for saying dumb things. But at the same time, I love it when people prove me wrong, because that means that we can live and learn with that. Wellston looks awesome, and that's a big-time win. They might be Athens' biggest competitor in the TVC Ohio right now.
You're exactly right, man. Like we said, a TVC that took a big step up this evening. Mm-hmm. Big step up. The Rockets looking good. 2-0 opening up the year. Another team that we're going to talk about here in just a little while, the Oak Hill Oaks, who fell to the Rockets, looking to get their first win. They're up 21-28. Over Fairfield Christian Academy
right now, 28-27. I believe Fairfield
Christian
Academy
Bubba, don't break my heart.
An extra point. Or they missed it.
They did.
I don't have like a live
update.
Oh
my gosh, you'll have to keep it right here. Football Friday Nights post game presented by General Mills. Let's get to another final here in the area. Circleville against Vinton County. This game was over on Pure Rock 98.7 WYRO, and this was another big victory for Circleville. Another back to the drawing board loss for Coach Games and his squad, new look Vikings team in MacArthur. What do you guys think about the Vikings, Bub? And tell me where you go from here, 0-2 Vikings.
There's a lot of question marks surrounding that program right now. I mean, starting off 0-2 in a off year, like your year last season was pretty good, and you're starting off 0-2. I'm a little worried if I'm a Benton County fan right now. Circleville does look good. They took down Warren last week in a close one. I actually thought this was going to be a little closer. I thought it was going to be within that 7-point range, but Circleville came into Benton County and handled business.
Got it done.
Yeah, they got it done. And I will say they lost a lot of senior talent, Benton County.
Man.
Like, Carper hurts, right? Carper might hurt more than any player, but they lost a lot of good football players. And I think they're feeling it a little bit. I think that this is when we talked to Coach Games in the preseason, this is really a sophomore and junior-led team. There really aren't a lot of seniors in the squad. These kids are young. They're still learning. I do think that this is kind of going to be a build back up type year. Benton County's not going to go winless. They're going to win a few games, but it's going to be about gaining that experience, gaining that knowledge, and then getting back in the weight room in January, February, beefing up, getting a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
But they'll be right back. I think Coach Games is the right pick. I think there's going to be some growing pains though, and I think they knew that coming in.
Yeah, and I think they were well prepared for that. We talked about they return a pretty good offensive and even defensive front. It's just now figuring out those skilled spots, those guys carrying the ball. Who do you lean on after you mentioned it? Nice graduating class a year ago. It's kind of a where do you go there if you're in the Vikings or if you're in that Benton County community. But keep it faithful. Keep it faithful. We think Coach Games is up for it. We think he's up for it.
Plenty of season left.
A lot of season left.
And they'll get opportunities for sure.
Absolutely. The score in Jackson is a final 51-14. The Ironmen do fall to the Ironton Fighting Tigers. Again, keep us here. We're going to be hearing from Coach Andy Hall here in just a little while. And not something that Coach Hall and his squad are used to. So should be an interesting conversation with Coach Hall. We're also going to hear from Coach Pendleton from the Ironton squad as well. So keep it right here on Total Media Sports Radio. But boys and girls, more games in the area. Eastern Beaver getting it done in Huntington Township this evening, 34-7. I liked Clay Bealier and his squad to come in. I thought this was maybe a trap game for Eastern. You got a 2-overtime win last week following a 10-0 year, your first 10-0 year in program history. You've been playing ball a decade. I thought Coach Tomlinson and his squad may have kind of under-evaluated a Huntington squad that picked up a nice win last weekend at East Clinton. 2-touchdown win against the Astros. It went 34-7. Eastern took this one. Big win, bub.
Yeah, and Huntington last week, they did an onside kick, threw some wrinkles into their plan, also forced a fumble. They just couldn't, force them same mistakes to Beaver. Beaver takes the win 34-7. And I mean, 2-0, they started their season off a little, on a little low note in that double overtime game. They managed to, come out of it, and they're going to look poised to improve going to week 3.
Yeah, 97-7 the Bull. If you're still listening, we got a tie over there. So head over to there or head over to Total Media Sports YouTube. Oaks are in a tie, 28-28, fourth quarter. Oaks still looking for that first win. You're on the edge of your seat if you're at Bill Davis Stadium. Another final in the area, Bub and Ethan. London beats Chillicothe. Big route here, 42-0. Ethan, a lot of the same, kind of what we felt from London, big win week 1. Chillicothe, big loss to Bloom Carroll week 1. We kind of felt this was in the works for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, and London is just a machine. We've seen it the last couple of years. They just kind of steamroll their competition up until the playoffs. Last year, it took the number 2 ranked recruit in the country to stop them. So,
right.
I mean, and luckily for them, Bellefontaine is now out of Region 11.
Yes.
So no Taven St. Clair, the 5-star Buckeyes commit to deal with for London. I'm sure they're glad to hear about that. But they're not focused on the playoffs right now. They're focused on, trying to maintain another undefeated regular season. And, I mean, they're just cruising right now. These are almost like tune-up race, like practices for these guys because they're just so locked in from the jump.
Yeah. Bub, if you're a London squad that's playing in these big games and get these big wins, you know what to do, right? Just more of the same. But if you're Chillicothe and you're looking to bounce back and you're Coach Bartholomew in that Chillicothe squad, you're now 0-2, and I got a little bit of news for you. That schedule is a nightmare.
Yeah, it's tough. And, you're going into week 3 with a score of 80-0 on the year. It's tough, but you look at the teams you played, a Bloom Carroll powerhouse and a London that's looking to be a powerhouse this year. You can't hang your hat on those 2 losses, and especially when it's to teams that are going to be playoff teams this year that do compete for the 3rd and 4th round, in my opinion. I think those 2 teams are just crazy good every year, especially Bloom Carroll. But London London just took care of business. Chillicothe's got to look to bounce back on week 3.
Yeah.
Do you know who they have off the top of your head week 3?
Week 3? I'm not sure who they got week 3, but I can tell you that remaining on the Chillicothe Cavaliers schedule, it does not get any easier. They've got Western Brown, Wilmington, and Jackson remaining on their schedule. If you look at that schedule, and they play tough teams outside of that, and that FAC, Greenfield was ahead earlier.
Yeah.
Even that mid-tier of the FAC kind of took a step up as well this evening. Jackson fell heavily to the Big Ironton squad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that shapes up in the whole FAC, but Chillicothe may very well go 1-9. I mean, it's going to be really tough if you're a Cavaliers fan, but there are brighter days ahead, just not really recently, bub. Going to be tough there. Let's keep it moving here. Madison Plains, huge win over another Ross County school, Southeastern. Falls 41-6.
Yeah, Southeastern had a pretty good game too last week.
Yeah,
I was gonna say again another game that made me look like an idiot.
Yeah,
because I picked Southeastern and then they get whacked,
trounced.
Yeah.
I thought I was really high on Southeastern heading into this game. I thought that they could get it done. I thought that after a big win last week on the road, big home opener, Madison Plains really struggled a week ago.
Yeah,
I thought this was the night. I took Southeastern to win this game. I know you all did as well, but Madison Plains going into Londonderry, getting it done. Big win there. Bub and Ethan, if you guys have scores, I know that you guys have a screen in front of you. So as you guys see stuff, feel free to chime in here.
Yeah, I got a couple.
Another team, Ethan, before we get to that, though, that I had on that Chillicothe schedule, Portsmouth West. I'm going to cross them off now.
Yeah.
I feel like we could cross Portsmouth West off of the tough schedules. Go ahead, Ethan.
Yeah, well, that's a score that it kind of shocked me when I first saw it. 41-7, the final on that one between Portsmouth and Portsmouth West. So Portsmouth retake that rivalry. Man, what's going on? That is not a team that we're used to seeing go 0-2, and not just 0-2, embarrassed.
Shocked.
2 weeks in a row. That is, and they bring back one of the better players in our area, in Mason Parker. And I don't know if maybe we're missing something. Maybe he's not playing or something's going wrong or something. But we got to be missing something because this is not a team that typically falls flat on their face. Even even with forget Mason Parker, just in general.
Right.
This is weird. This is out of character for sure.
Yeah, I think we all kind of looked at each other and kind of gave each other the same look, like, what is going on in Portsmouth West right now? It's something's happening. Hey, we're going to take our first break here. We'll be right back on Total Media Sports Radio. It's Football Friday Night's postgame brought to you by General Mills.
Tired of that annoying drip? Call Rogers Plumbing and More. With over 20 years of experience, Rogers Plumbing and More has been your trusted local expert for residential plumbing. From leaky faucets to major repairs and
on the Hocking River, canoeing, kayaking, or tubing. Sling the mud through Wayne National Forest on a guided Polaris side-by-side tour. Or book a 3-wheeled slingshot and experience the most scenic highways in Southeast Ohio.
Come meet the Adventure Pro staff on Canal Street in Nelsonville, Ohio.
New memories start here. Visit AdventureProOutdoors.com.
Hungry for some home-cooked goodness just like Grandma's? Come on down to Mammy's Country Kitchen in Albany. Whether it's our mouth-watering meatloaf, crisp salads, or our creamy mashed potatoes, we've got something to satisfy every craving. Savor some of our homemade noodles, rolls, and desserts. At Mammy's, we believe in good food and great company. Bring your family and friends and stay a while. We're located in the historic Albany Schoolhouse on the hill behind the library. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 8, Saturday and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Mammy's Country Kitchen, where every meal feels like home.
The General Mills Company of Wellston, manufacturers of great items like Totino's Pizza and Totino's Pizza Rolls, are proud to be a part of the Southern Ohio community. The General Mills Company, just like its hard-working employees in Southern Ohio, are proud supporters of our area youth. The General Mills Company wishes good luck to all area high school teams this season. A message from your friends at General Mills Company in Wellston.
Everyone knows Nick's Station is home to Footlong Fridays. But did you also know that it's home to the best burgers and milkshakes in town? Bring your kids for a soft serve ice cream treat or have some quality time with family and friends with a delicious lunch or dinner at Nick's. Nick's Station is located at 1111 Chestnut Street in Nelsonville and open Tuesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Come on down to Nick's Station in Nelsonville, home to Footlong Fridays and fresh, delicious food and ice cream treats, served up quickly with a smile.
This is XYZ Insurance. How can I help?
I have a question about my home policy.
Okay, question about phone policy.
Home policy.
Okay, gnome policy.
HOME, home.
Technology is great, but sometimes it's better to talk with a real person. With Erie Insurance, you have a caring, independent agent who's with you from beginning to end. Your Erie agent is McFadden Insurance. Get a quote today by calling 753-1905. Go to erieinsurance.com for company licensure and product details.
We're back with Football Friday Night's postgame brought to you by General Mills. Thanks for listening to Total Media Sports Radio. It's Eric, it's Bub, and it's Ethan Sargent bringing you all of the football action in Southeast Ohio this evening. Boys and girls, we've talked about a number of things here. Had to take just a quick break. Thanks to all of our sponsors, our regional sponsors, our local sponsors, all of you joining us from listening stations across the Total Media world. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to be here at least till 12:30 or so.
Yeah, we
Ethan.
get some bonus time tonight.
Yeah, a little bit of bonus
exciting.
time. Yeah, it's nice when they push it back. You get a
Yeah.
little free football and free sports talk.
Free Friday night.
Yeah, let's do it.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning. Yeah, we're all looking forward to that.
Of course.
Big kickoff at noon tomorrow.
I'm
we're
thrilled.
Excited for all of it. Football's back, boys
Football's
and
so
girls.
back.
It's so back. We're ready for it. You know who's not ready for it?
Who's that?
Menford.
Oy.
Something's going on in Menford, boys and girls. I don't know what's going on. Chesapeake, however, looks good in Menford tonight. Goes to Muletown, Bub. Shuts out the Falcons. Bub, what's going on in Menford? You were just at the dairy bar today.
Yeah, I actually stopped in at the Menford Dairy Bar and got me one of the best peanut butter milkshakes that I've had. And I got the jumbo. I thought I could handle it. I got about halfway through and I just couldn't finish
too
it.
thick.
Tough one.
Too thick.
It was. And, the peanut butter was a little too thick. I will say that. Just for, me to finish it. But overall, I mean, it was a great milkshake. However, the Falcons didn't really have a great game today.
It's a terrible segue. It's so bad. But okay, let's do it.
I mean, I don't know what's going on with Menford losing 35-0. It's a program that's notorious for being a competitive team in their respective conference, and it just seems like something's up, and I can't put my finger on it.
I don't know either, man. Kind of feels the same way that we felt about Portsmouth West. Ethan, any thoughts on what might be going on over in Menford? Man?
I don't know. It's a weird one because it's another team like Portsmouth West where we're used to them, maybe not on the same level Portsmouth West, where Portsmouth West consistently challenging for, divisional and regional championships.
Yeah.
Menford's consistently a playoff team. They're consistently up there and, challenging. This year, it does not seem to be the case. I do have another big final. This one was over on WXIZ.
Yeah.
Waverly 28-7 over Zane Trace.
Big
so
win.
Waverly off to a very good start. 2-0 with two very nice wins against tough opponents. I really like that start for the Tigers.
Way to open up your home season if you're a Tiger, man. Tiger Town's booming. Carried a bunch of momentum into baseball season, but they got a lot of baseball players on that Tigers roster. Hunter Houck is one of them. Had a great first outing in week 1. Really looking forward to seeing how he did in week 2 here. Tiger Town's booming, and I'm buying into that Tigers program. This is a Tigers team I feel is going to fare very well in that SOC. I don't know if the jury's still out on Berg. They took a loss tonight as well. We'll get to that here in just a moment. But, Bub, what are your thoughts on the Waverly Tigers tonight?
I mean, they're taking down a Zane Trace team by 21 points. I don't think Zane Trace is a bad team. They ran into unfortunate circumstances last week with the quarterback situation. Waverly continues to roll throughout week 2, 28-7. They're looking hot.
I agree with you. Tigers playing real good football. Obviously, it's going to be between Waverly and Wheelersburg in that conference. I think it's kind of a toss-up between those two. Ethan, how do you think this conference shapes out between those two squads?
Oh, look, at the end of the day right now, I know Wheelersburg has played a tough schedule. By the way, Wheelersburg-Jackson next week. Big game with a lot of expectations weighing on that game. But right now, one team's 2-0, one team's 0-2. And you really can't quantify it any more than that. And again, you give Wheelersburg a little bit of give because they've played two very, very good football teams. But I at the end of the day, Waverly have also played two very good football teams. Miami Trace bounced back tonight. They were up when we last checked.
Okay.
Not a final yet, but they were up. And then Zane Trace last week lost a tough game, but Zane Trace is a team that has gone undefeated in the regular season, very recently, is a team that always challenges, I think, Region 20, they bounce around too, like a lot of these schools. So I think that right now, Waverly are the front runners for sure, and I think that they'll feel real confident. And that was a team I really thought was going to feel the loss of Jace Hurd a lot more than they seemed to have, because Jace Hurd was one of the better running backs in the 7-4-0 last year, and he's been fantastic. Well, he was fantastic.
Right.
But Waverly's not feeling that loss as much as it seems. It really does seem like they've we did a little bit of research in the preseason. It seemed like they were kind of taking a running back by committee approach, kind of giving 4 or 5 guys an opportunity to claim that role. And I'd love to. I do think we're going to go there within the next 3 or 4 weeks for Friday kickoff.
I hope
we're going to try and hit. I will say this: we are going to try and hit every single Toll Media station. We're doing Gallion next week. Waverly will definitely be attended at least once. I think Waverly Portsmouth West would be a great game to go to potentially. But one week that I will say we have circled is Athens NY, and I want to talk about Athens because Athens hasn't played a game at home yet.
It's interesting.
Athens has won 2 games in impressive fashion on the road. And you think Joe Burrow Stadium is going to be bumping next Friday or what?
Yeah.
For a Marietta team that's also pretty good. Marietta, I don't know how they did tonight against John Marshall.
They were up 10-0.
But they could be
at the start of the 4th.
They could be 2-0 rolling into Joe Burrow Stadium.
Yeah.
In a game that all of a sudden has a boatload of importance in Division III Region 11. That's a game that means a lot for the computer late in the year.
Yeah.
Those are 2 teams that, were kind of, when you think back to 2 years ago, 2 teams that went, I think, 3 combined wins in 2022.
Yeah.
And then 2023, last year, both teams make the playoffs. Both teams take a big step forward. And now this could be a massive game because you think about how tight Division III Region 11 is going to be with all these star-studded teams. Every single game is going to matter for Athens, right? If you want that home playoff game against some of these big dogs,
right,
with the TVC and, unfortunately for Athens, it's weakness in the computer,
sure,
you're going to need help. You're going to need to be able to win every game in front of you. So this is a huge game shaping up next week for Athens.
It is, man. And you mentioned it. Joe Burrow Stadium is going to be bumping. Coach Nathan White is going to have his team doing a lot of what they've been doing, getting ready, bub, winning games, putting up points. We wondered at the beginning of the year, would he have enough pieces returning to get creative? That offense generating points early in the year. If you're listening to us if you're tuning into us now, coming from Hank FM 100.9 WXIZ, thank you for tuning into us. You're listening to Football Friday Nights Postgame, brought to you by General Mills. It's Ethan, it's Bub, and it's Eric here, and we're just talking football. We're bringing you through all of your Football Friday Night action here in the 740. Bub, an interesting one. Let's just go ahead and get right to it. We were in the SOC. Let's go ahead and reel it back to there. Wheelersburg falls to McNicholas tonight. A tough second game for a Wheelersburg squad that fell big last week to the Ironton squad that definitely proved it tonight in Alumni Stadium. The jury is not out on Ironton.
Nope.
I think a run to Canton may be in store for the Ironton Tigers. I don't know. If my eyes don't deceive me, they looked real good tonight, boys and girls. But hey, McNicholas, Wheelersburg's got some figuring out to do.
Yeah, we weren't going to write off Wheelersburg from that week 1 loss to Ironton. We know how good Ironton is this year. However, I was actually pretty confident Wheelersburg could right the ship this week.
And I see what you did there. They're Pirates.
You like that pun, don't you?
Nice.
That was good.
Well done.
Unfortunately, they couldn't get it done against the McNicholas team that is a perennial powerhouse in their respective region as well. It's a tough schedule for Berg. And I've really wanted to make this point. I'm glad that these teams in Southeastern Ohio are reaching out to these bigger name programs and having these tougher out-of-conference schedules.
Sure.
Because it makes these programs, it's a long-term investment. You might lose a couple years, but eventually your program's going to benefit from it in talent.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I agree with you. It all pays dividends in the end. Your program starts to see those things, and we're seeing it, right? Ironton, if you take a look at their schedule, my gosh, which of course they're independent. They're not tied to a conference. A little easier for them to go out of their way and do those things. But man, it doesn't get any easier for Berg that returns to Jackson, as you mentioned, next Friday, or plays Jackson next Friday. Big game. Ethan, any new scores in the area that you've seen on your behalf at this point?
I think I got a couple.
Discussed.
Eastern, the other Eastern out in Reedsville, they took down Ritt County from West Virginia 47-16. That's a team that's just rolling right now. They brought back a lot of talent from last year. We knew how good they were last year. They bring back a lot of talent, and they step up a region. They step up into 23.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tough team to take down. Jason Jackson is one of the better coaches in our area. He's come in. You want to hear something crazy, actually?
Let's do it.
I got to shout out my good friends at Gridiron Glory for pulling up this stat in their research this week, but they told me about this, and I want to put it on the air. Jason Jackson, in Eastern history, right? Eastern football, I think, has been around for about 80, 90 years. Actually, I got to say, the first thing tonight, they had almost every living former Eastern high school football player at that game tonight.
That's crazy.
That's cool. It was like a major homecoming, which was cool. Very, very cool. Heard it was an awesome show. They had a lot of like 80, 90-year-old guys come in and ran out with the players, apparently.
So that's good.
That was
we love it.
I'd love to see a video of that somewhere. I'm sure it was awesome.
Tag us.
Jason Jackson, I believe tonight was win number 22 of his career at Eastern. Actually, it might be 23. Because I don't think the records were counting this season. So he's 2-0 he was at 21 before the season.
Right.
That is fifth all time for Eastern. 21 wins is fifth all time already. Tied for fifth. So he's now alone in fifth. I think he's alone in fourth place now for the most wins in Eastern high school history. Let me tell you, that number is going to climb fast.
Yeah.
He is done such a great job. We've talked to him a couple times on this show before. We talked to him a couple times last year. Great guy, class act.
Yeah.
And he teaches his kids to play the right way. After they beat Trimble last year, one of my favorite interviews of the year up there with TJ Carper week 9 was Jason Jackson week 8 after they beat Trimble. And that was kind of the moment where you knew, wow, they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And they had some down years, some real bad years. And he was like, you know what? These boys have learned. They've grown from boys to men. And that's what it's all about. And there's a lot of coaches in the area that do that really well. And Jason Jackson is up there near the top.
Shout out to Jason Jackson, 5th place all time. Don't care how many wins it is, because that just tells me if it's only 22, you took over a program that you knew you were going to have some work to do. You didn't have any problem rolling up your sleeves and going into Reedsville and getting a job done. You got it done again this evening. Bubba, any new scores in the area we need to take a look at?
Yeah, I've actually got a Trimble update here. I've got them beating Bern Union 46-13.
Wow. Nice. Okay.
And this was a Trimble team that struggled to put up points against Nelsonville York last week.
Nothing sweet about Sugar Grove this evening. Bern Union.
It must have been the travel to Bern Union this week. It must have given them the amount of time they needed to get that offensive right. Because putting up 46 this week, it's a good sign for Trimble.
Absolutely. And I like Trimble this year. I think that they got a little unlucky last week. They made a couple of key mistakes. That was the big theme of when we talked about that game last week up on Friday night, was that they just made key mistakes. They had the muff punt late in that game. They had another muff punt earlier in the game that set up NY. They had just too many mistakes in key spots. And I think that Coach Ferris went back to the drawing board, went back to the film room and said, hey, we're better than this.
Yeah.
We can be better than this.
Absolutely.
And I think that they learned their lesson. They went hard practice this week for sure. And I was expecting a win tonight. I didn't know if it was going to be by that much, but it's encouraging to see Trimble go out and put out that much. You want to talk about Ironton real quick. And Ironton, in going to Canton, they're going to have to go through Harvest Prep. Harvest Prep went to Purcell Marion today, a very, very prominent high school in the Cincinnati area, 46-8.
Wow.
After beating Pick Central last week. I mean,
Pick Central was a nasty win in week 1 for Harvest Prep.
And then they go and beat Purcell Marion, who I believe is D Region 12, I think, something like that. But that's another very good school in the Cincinnati area. Marietta also pick up a win, and they pick up a shutout. They beat John Marshall 10-0.
Wow.
That one just rolled through. So
nice win there.
That is a good. So now that sets up that matchup we were just talking about. 2-0 versus 2-0 at Joe Burrow Stadium next week.
Yeah.
Athens versus Marietta. That's going to be a fun game. And Athens is going to be rocking.
Let's talk a little bit more about that after the break. By the way, if you're listening to us on Mix 96 WKOV, we appreciate it. We appreciate you being here. We got a lot to come from the Ironton-Jackson showdown as well. We're going to take another break here. We'll be right back. You're listening to Total Media Radio's Football Friday Night, presented by General Mills.
Broadcasting from the Holzer Studios, taking local healthcare to the next level. We are Southeast Ohio's hometown rock station. Q Rock 105 WXTQ Athens. USA, a total media station.
And we're back. We couldn't contain ourselves, boys and girls. We had the excitement of week 2, Football Friday Night.
Tired of that annoying drip? Call Rogers.
There's no rest for the wicked tonight.
You know what? I was tired of that annoying drip. Hey, anyway, Total Media, Football Friday Night.
At Adventure Pro Outdoors, we are the experts in outdoor fun. Spend the day on the Hocking River, canoeing, kayaking, or tubing. Sling some mud through Wayne National Forest on a guided Polaris side-by-side tour. Or book a 3-wheeled slingshot and experience the most scenic highways in Southeast Ohio.
Come meet the Adventure Pro staff on Canal Street in Nelsonville, Ohio.
New memories start here. Visit AdventureProOutdoors.com.
Hungry for some home-cooked goodness just like Grandma's? Come on down to Mammy's Country Kitchen in Albany. Whether it's our mouth-watering meatloaf, crisp salads, or our creamy mashed potatoes, we've got something to satisfy every craving. Savor some of our homemade noodles, rolls, and desserts. At Mammy's, we believe in good food and great company. Bring your family and friends and stay a while. We're located in the historic Albany Schoolhouse on the hill behind the library. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 8. Saturday and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Mammy's Country Kitchen, where every meal feels like home.
The General Mills Company of Wellston, manufacturers of great items like Totino's Pizza and Totino's Pizza Rolls, are proud to be a part of the Southern Ohio community. The General Mills Company, just like its hard-working employees in Southern Ohio, are proud supporters of our area youth. The General Mills Company wishes good luck to all area high school teams this season. A message from your friends at General Mills Company in Wellston.
Everyone knows Nick's Station is home to Footlong Fridays. But did you also know that it's home to the best burgers and milkshakes in town? Bring your kids for a soft serve ice cream treat or have some quality time with family and friends with a delicious lunch or dinner at Nick's. Nick's Station is located at 1111 Chestnut Street in Nelsonville and open Tuesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Come on down to Nick's Station in Nelsonville, home to Footlong Fridays and fresh, delicious food and ice cream treats, served up quickly with a smile.
This is XYZ Insurance. How can I help?
I have a question about my home policy.
Okay, question about phone policy.
Home policy.
Okay, gnome policy.
HOME, home.
Technology is great, but sometimes it's better to talk with a real person. With Erie Insurance, you have a caring, independent agent who's with you from beginning to end. Your Erie agent is McFadden Insurance. Get a quote today by calling 753-1905. Go to erieinsurance.com for company licensure and product details.
And we're back. It's Total Media Sports Radio. Football Friday Night's postgame brought to you by General Mills. Eric Bubb and Ethan Sargent here, bringing you all of your recap, all of your scores, all of your results, everything for your night here on Friday Night Football. Let's get back to it here, Bubb. Some new scores coming here, some new finals here in the area.
Yeah, a big one. Meigs at Fairfield Union tonight. Meigs actually drops the game 48-6. And that's a surprising one to me. A Meigs team that was coming off a big win against Gallia Academy, their first win in 5 years, I believe.
Since 2017.
Yes.
Yep.
So that was a huge win for them. And they came into the game. I had big expectations for this Meigs team that proved that they did have a true passing game last week.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for them, they couldn't get that passing game rolling enough tonight, nor could they stop Fairfield Union from scoring as well.
Yeah, and for Megs, it was kind of the jury, kind of one of those teams we talked about in the pregame show, Ethan, that the jury was kind of still out on. We thought very highly of Nolan Yates in that passing attack. Unfortunately, just not quite enough to get it done in the year. If you're Megs, what are your thoughts headed into week 2?
I think, you hit that high, and now you've hit that low, and Megs is probably somewhere in the middle. I think that the fair thought with Megs is that, look, they're going to have some games where, they put the hurt on teams offensively, but then there are going to be games where it goes wrong. You remember, it's still a sophomore quarterback. It's still a young team, right? I still have faith that this Meg squad can win a few games for sure, can maybe even challenge in the TVC Ohio that kind of looks open right now. It's a team that I think is probably not the high that we saw last week, but they're probably not as low as we're feeling this week.
Sure.
I just want to throw this out real quick. The Oak Hill Oaks are going into overtime, 28-28 against Fairfield Christian.
We got overtime in Oak Hill,
and that was at 10:56. So we're a few minutes behind, but
overtime in the woods, baby.
Game.
In the village,
in the
woods. You know what? I got to do it. I got the phone. It's on the stream. I'm keeping an eye on it.
I was gonna say, if you guys want to watch or listen to that, multiple options. It's on Total Media. If you're listening to us on YouTube right now, it is on. You just click on our YouTube channel. Should be like the first stream at the top because it's one of maybe one or two that's still live,
still remaining.
And then if you want to listen, what's the station? What station is
97.7 The Bull.
97.7 The Bull. Make sure you go tune in there. Want to catch the end of that game. We talked about teams bouncing back from bad losses.
Absolutely.
Fort Fry lost a tough one last week. They lost bad to Barnesville. You think they were angry?
I hope by the look on your face, I'm going to say they were angry.
Belpre 6, Fort Fry 72.
I believe I seen 51-0 with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter.
72.
There was freshmen scoring in the second quarter.
That was an unhappy Fort Fry team that came out to ball.
Fort Fry, who hurt you?
That's the Fort Fry that we expected.
Barnesville did that. They hurt you 51-10. I remember.
Yeah,
week 1. Wow.
What a big turnaround for an offense that couldn't really produce any points last week, though.
Yeah, I think I have a feeling that they got they got down to business in practice this week. I don't think it was a very fun week of practice down in Beverly.
I don't think it was either. Let's bounce it over to a different area of the 740. Logan Elm opening up their home season here. Takes a big victory in the battle of the 1-0s here, bub.
Yeah, and Westfall, they're not a bad team. The game they lost last week was a pretty close one in their defense. This Logan L team just must be on a different level this year. They're always a strong team. They're always a team that can play 12 or 13 weeks. But man, what a score for them. A convincing 28-point victory.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, Logan Elm, the Braves, did what I kind of thought that they would do tonight. Very convincing week 1 to go into Kingston against the Zane Trace school and do what you did. I know Zane Trace had their quarterback issues. We talked about that a little bit on the post-game show as well. But again, if you're the Braves, you were hot. Just, within recent memory, within the decade, you were taking on the Jacksons of the world in the playoffs in Alumni Stadium. So you've been a big team, and it's just a matter of whether you can get back to that or not if you're the Braves. Time will tell. Any new scores you want to look at?
The Adena versus Portsmouth Notre Dame. Adena did win 28-8. Big win for Adena, starting off the season 2-0.
Yeah.
So good for them.
I have
on
a
that
score that's not on our list, but I think it's noteworthy for people who are listening in this area. We know that Bloom Carroll is a powerhouse. This is a team that is typically, Jackson fans won't even like hearing the name.
Not tonight, we won't.
They lost tonight to Taze Valley.
Whoa.
28-10.
Wow.
Taze Valley, a team that's on the outs, a team that's heading to the OCC. Or actually might already be in the OCC.
I think
this
they're
is
there.
year 1. Yeah.
I think Logan's joining.
Logan and Taze Valley both in this year.
Yeah.
Taze Valley goes to Bloom Carroll and beats them 28-10. That is a noteworthy score in the 7-4.
Taze Valley has a beautiful field, by the way. Just want to
they
throw
do.
that out
They
there.
do.
Jackson got to play.
They do it right in Bainbridge.
I went to their field a couple years ago. When I was working for Gridiron, I covered when Watkins Memorial played there. In, I believe 2022. Beautiful field. It's like right, like it's kind of just a slice. They
it's like
throw it there.
It's like a movie.
It is.
scene.
It is.
You drive into Bainbridge, you're on Route 50, you're headed west
It's like
or
the field,
east.
It's like the Field of Dreams.
It is, man. And you're driving through all of it. Bainbridge is beautiful. You pass the beautiful Paxton Theater, and there it is, bub, on the left. It's awesome.
And he brought up Watkins Memorial. Actually, Sheridan took them down tonight.
Yeah, that's another
17-7.
noteworthy result. Sheridan losing last week was not something a lot of people were expecting. The Licking Valley, Paul Culver III doesn't let his teams sit around and feel sorry for themselves. So he got him right back out there, and they got a nice win against a Watkins team that was struggled for a while, kind of on the back up now with head coach Darren Waters. But it's a good, impressive bounce back win for Sheridan. Another, mentioning Licking Valley, they got that impressive win. A lot of hype. I talked to one of our other correspondents, Cade Williamson, who's always helped out this show and has talked to him a lot about this. And he was a big fan of Licking Valley. Licking Valley lost tonight to West Muskingum.
Wow.
And that is a school that had a lot of hype last year. Remember, they have a kid, Rashid Cisse, who last year, who now this year walked on at Ohio State. You don't just walk on at Ohio State.
Yeah, that
right?
doesn't just happen.
That doesn't just happen.
You got to be a certain
you
type
gotta
of talent.
be real good to
Yeah.
walk on at Ohio State. And Rashid Cisse was real good. We'll see. Hopefully he gets an opportunity for the Buckeyes at some point in the near future. But West Muskingum not feeling his loss too badly. They're off to a 2-0 start. MVL looks wide open.
MVL
wide
does look
open.
But you
You've
talk
got
about a tough one.
You've got tough ones. Tri-Valley is one of the better programs in our coverage area. They have some studs across the field. They have got a really good quarterback that I'm blanking the name on right now, and it's really bothering me. Tri-Valley. Their quarterback is nasty.
Josh
Tri-Valley and Sheridan are just
Yeah.
those two teams in
Yep.
my head that always reload in the MVL.
Yeah.
Lyle, I believe.
Okay.
Something like that. But it's annoying me that I can't remember. I hate it when that happens.
Uh-huh.
But no, they're good. And that game it's always week 9, Tri-Valley Sheridan. It's always a circled game
Great,
because
yeah.
then Sheridan always plays that game, and then they play the Perry County Super Bowl against New Lexington. New Lex looked great this year. They got a win as well.
Yeah.
So the MVL is going to be fun. The MVL is a fun conference. I loved covering a few of those games last year. They're a really, really tight and fun conference to cover. And that should be a fun one to keep our eyes on, especially if Sheridan could keep growing after that loss week 1. Maybe it woke them up.
Yeah, and New Lex, you mentioned they won tonight. They did take down Philo 44-19. Philo's still recovering from that loss to Athens last week. Meanwhile, New Lex looks hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are exactly right. Man, just feels good. Doesn't it? Just feels good. Hey, let's keep it moving here. Another score in the area, or a couple of scores here in the area. Grove City Christian went to Green. Nothing too noteworthy here. But boys and girls, it's not too often in the 7-4-0 that you see two Coach Halls take big losses in the same night in the area. And of course, we talked about Coach Andy Hall and the Jackson Ironmen. Tough one tonight to the Ironton Tigers. We're still hoping to hear from Coach Hall here hopefully before the end of the night. We're going to be keeping it going until 12:30, so a lot of time to hear from him still yet. But right now, Coach Hall and Coach Hall, big losses. Green took a loss 45-0 in the Furnace tonight. The Bobcats took big win last week. Coach Hall, kind of one of those teams up and down right now. Bub.
Yeah, like you said, a team that's up and down. His first year at Green. Great shutout last week. Unfortunately, you had to play against a team that was 6-5 last year, which isn't a significant record, but whenever your program's just starting from the ground up again, you got a new coach. They've got the experience.
I also believe Green started 6-0, and then they lost their last 5 games.
Wow,
I might be wrong on that.
That's
but
an
I'm pretty
interesting
sure.
statistic.
I'm pretty sure they started the season red hot, and then it came crumbling down.
And that's a scary thing. I mean, you seen like the Eagles last year, kind of their season faltering. You don't want to go into the offseason on a low note like that on a 5-game losing skid.
Yeah. Bub, you said scary thing here. Scary thing happened this evening in the Federal Hawking game and their contest against Trinity Christian as well. They called that game early in this one. It sounded like, from what we understand, to be a heat-related issue with a player. Maybe I'm not entirely sure what the details are on that. I think that it's, to our knowledge, a player collapsed or went down on the field. We're told he walked off the field, but I think they called that game. If I'm not mistaken, is that what you said, Ethan?
I believe so. And if anybody was there or heard about it or saw about it, hopefully that player's okay.
Yeah.
Again, we talked about that on the pregame that the weather was going to be brutal today for anybody. So hopefully again that player, from what I heard was okay in the end, but hopefully he is fully okay. Obviously, we don't know for sure, so hopefully he is doing all right and got some fluids in him. But yeah, it should be a. There's a lot of other. I think I had one more score that we hadn't talked.
Oak Hill
about.
just scored a touchdown, by the way,
man.
34-28.
Oakvertime. Hey, we got Oakvertime in Oak Hill in the woods, but we're going to get to that here in just a minute. We have the best stat man this side of the Mississippi. Bub, I'm going to ask you to give up your microphone to
absolutely.
To the legendary
with pleasure.
Pete Wilson here. By the way, thank you for tuning in on all of our stations. Pure Rock 105 XCQ FM, Pure Rock 99.5 BYG FM, Mix 96.7 WKOV, 100.9 Hank FM, WXIZ. You're listening to Total Media Sports Football Friday Night Postgame, brought to you by General Mills. And we're now joined by Pete Wilson here. And Pete, not necessarily the outcome we wanted to see at Alumni Stadium. I'm going to speak as an Ironman faithful for just a moment here because it's hitting me like an Ironman in my heart.
You were out on the field, so that's understandable, and I've been following them for a long time. Certainly disappointing. We knew that Ironton was maybe a great team.
Yeah.
We were hoping that the Ironmen would be very close to being a great team, and it could be, as the season goes on, maybe I expect them to have a great season, but Ironton, I've seen a number of our teams. I was covered them in the 70s when Bob Lutz was the coach.
Yes,
this
sir.
is one of the best Ironton teams I've seen. They
Wow.
are so deep. Whoever they give the ball to, whoever catches the ball, they just keep coming at you. And they just ran over us in the second half, 51-14, after such a promising first half where we were very much in the game. But some of the stats are eye-popping. Ironton 27 first downs to 7 for Jackson.
Wow.
Ironton 515 total yards, 302 passing, 213 rushing. Jackson 176 total, 138 pass, 38 rush. That's lopsided, but get this,
Wow.
Jackson in the second half. Remember, it was 24-14 at halftime, 14-12 Jackson leading with 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. In the second half, Jackson, no first downs and 15 total yards.
May I ask, did you say Jackson had 28 rushing yards this evening?
They had 38.
38 rushing yards at Alumni Stadium for the Ironman.
Right. And, big line there. And Nolan Johnson, you expected to have an outstanding season.
Sure.
But, I thought.
Says a lot about that Ironton front.
As good as Sean Terry is, and you saw that electrifying 31
Wasn't
yard,
that incredible?
What a play. But Braden Schreck, the quarterback, to me, he's the player of the game.
Yeah,
the extended plays turned
I
out
agree.
to be, a very capable passer. He avoided the rush, didn't get any sacks when he did get pressure. I give Ironton a lot of credit for giving Schreck time, but he extended so many. How many times did they have third down? Maybe 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10, and he made a play.
Yeah.
And Jackson had to get some stops in there, and they had to stop the big play. And they were very much in the game until Ironton just took it away from him, and then they smelled blood in the
Shrek's
water.
arms and legs too. It was both.
Yeah.
It was with the arms, he threw for a couple of key third downs, and then it was the legs. He like Pete said, extended the play.
And he did it stepping up. He did it going around. He did it in so many different types of ways. Mr. Wilson, another player that we talked about here, and again, we're joined with Pete Wilson here, the greatest stat man that we know. Another kid that we talked about, Zane Williams for the Ironton Fighting Tigers a little while ago, because there's so much star power around that backfield. We were like, well, who's carrying the ball for these guys? We mentioned Zane Williams. There were some other guys that carried the ball very well for the Tigers tonight as well.
The Edric Graves, no one had even told me about him.
He wasn't on my radar.
Number 0, 3 touchdowns, 50 yards. They had Schreck had 50 yards. I think they had 5 players, between 30 and 50 yards. And,
Wow.
their yards per carry average was good. And Schreck ended up, by the way, 15 out of 25. Passed for 2 touchdowns and ran for no, he didn't run for 1, but he set up 1. So
Man.
he was.
Congratulations to that
and
young
you know
man.
what? He was playing end last year. That's the incredible thing.
Yeah.
He was converted from end because they just thought he was the kind of guy to lead them.
Yeah.
This Ironton team, a lot of talk about how good Harvest Prep is, which knocked them out last year.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see that game, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
my
Oh,
goodness.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall. Absolutely. Let's talk about the one highlight here. You've been covering Jackson. You've covered every Jackson alumni football, every Jackson game at Alumni Stadium that I know of. Let's talk about the one highlight that you look at as a Jackson fan. Nolan Johnson on the opening play of the game for the Ironmen. We talked at halftime of that game. It felt like Coach Hall kind of kept that one in his back pocket. Kind of felt like he knew He saw something in preseason, not really sure. That was kind of that was about as loud as I've ever heard Alumni Stadium, Mr.
Oh,
Wilson.
my, what a start to the game. Little pass out in the flat, and you think, oh, good, 7 yards.
Let's do it.
Second and 3.
Yeah.
We're cooking. And then got a block downfield.
Great
made
block.
a couple cuts.
Man.
And then what a wonderful play. And you're thinking, we got a shot here.
Yeah.
I
The way it started.
accidentally recorded it. I was
Yeah,
recording
you
my
did.
I was recording my pregame. Like I was just doing like, all right, this game's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
They recorded the kickoff. They're still going. They set it up, and I was literally wrapping up. I was like, well, make sure to stay tuned. We'll have more later. And then I just see him go, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
He's going.
Yeah.
And then he cuts. He
The
somehow
cutback.
and it wasn't even the
there.
craziest play in the game. It wasn't there. He
No.
flies around the back. Then I thought he was going to get run out of bounds, but he smartly cut back in field,
Yeah.
and that opened up the entire other
Well,
side of the field.
Right,
and
you can see what he can do if he
Oh,
gets, if he gets some room. Now he's 220 pounds this year. That's what he's listed as. I know he has worked his butt off.
He's so
to
big
be,
in person.
for a great senior season, but he does not have any room tonight. 13 carries, 10 yards. I don't care who we're
Wow.
playing.
Oof.
I never thought I'd see
Man.
those stats, and he just didn't have room. He hit the line of scrimmage. You're thinking he's going to get some yards, but that second line of tacklers coming in,
Yeah.
just sure tacklers and so quick. The Ironton defense can get overlooked with that cast on offense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're awfully good too.
That Ironton defense.
no Johnson tonight
stood out
too. We
from-
didn't know about that.
Yeah,
pregame.
Josh Johnson didn't play. The Louisville commit, listed at 6'3". He's every bit of it on the sidelines. Bub, we talked about he was head and shoulders above any kid wearing a helmet on those sidelines. He's going to Louisville next year. Not even in the game. That's a scary defense as he gets healthier this year. Could be it might be a Canton year for that Ironton team.
Well, the Ironton radio crew told me they thought Johnson was a 50-50 call. He wanted to play. The trainer said, I'm not sure he should. He will probably play next week against Cabell Midland. But the Ironton radio crew, they've been doing it a while too.
Yeah.
They think that he is the best cornerback they've seen in
Wow.
years.
Wow.
Now, that says something when you're talking to Ironton.
Ironton football doesn't get any bigger than that.
Right.
Pete Wilson, we're going to let you go. Of course,
Thank
the
you.
editor of the Telegram. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here, Total Media Sports.
Hey, listen, I want to say this.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you've been saying nice things about us. I've been listening to your show, listened to it last week. You guys are doing a fabulous job. You're getting people excited about football as if they should have to get excited.
Well,
you guys are doing the job. You're excited about what you do, and you know what you're talking about.
well, we very much appreciate you, sir. Thanks so much, Mr. Pete Wilson, the editor of the Telegram and the best statistician
Man,
this
knows
side
ball. Knows
of
ball.
the Mississippi. He's here, and unfortunately, not a ton of great news if you're Ironman fans. If you're Ironton fans, though, it doesn't get much better than what you saw tonight. I don't know. That's one of the best wins I've ever seen in my lifetime for an Ironton squad. That's a hyped up Jackson team.
Well,
as well.
I remember Ironton a couple years ago went to the state final, came up just short against South Range, right? They were
Yeah.
a couple of plays away in that game. And that's always been the cloud that hangs over Ironton. Is since those state titles back in the 80s,
Yeah.
they have not been able to get that over the hump. And it's kind of been the problem for a lot of teams here in our area. We haven't, Southeast
Yeah.
Ohio as a whole has not been able. Just 6 state titles out of 285 total. I only know that because I did a big project on it last year. But 6 state title, that is, I think,
That's a cool
2.6%.
statistic.
Well-
it is not good. It is not good at all.
I was going to ask you, and then I was like, no, don't ask it. But then you said I did a whole project on it, so now I feel obligated. I can at least ask one question about that. What does that tell you about football in this area
Well,
overall?
it is ultra competitive. I think that's the first thing that you say. And those 6 state titles, Nelsonville York has one of them. Amanda Clear Creek has 2 back-to-back years in
Yep.
99 and 2000.
Yep.
Ironton has 1, or Ironton has 2 as well from the 80s, and then Wheelersburg has 1. So only 4, or no, Ironton only has 1, sorry. Crooksville has 1, and Nelsonville York. So it's not much. There ain't much to go around. But so many teams have gotten there. Trimble got there twice in 5 years.
Yeah.
Boone Carroll's been there recently 2 years ago. Ironton's been there recently 2 years ago.
Wheelersburg won it.
Wheelersburg
recently.
won in 2017. That's the most recent one.
Right.
Before that, it was a while.
Yeah.
And I think this area breeds competition in terms of, like, you're never going to get the talent that you get in Cleveland,
Right.
in Cincinnati, in Columbus, right? That's a given just because that's
The population
pop-
rate
sure,
is just
sure.
so much
population.
higher in those bigger
But when
cities
you
as
look
well.
at the games and the rivalries, and this was the big thing that my project focused on, there's nothing quite like football in this area.
Yeah.
There is just something special in the air every time, 2 teams line it up. It could be two 0-10 teams or two 0-9 teams line it up on week 10 for absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And there will still be stands. There will still be parents and people in the stands. There will still play the fight songs. They will still have the concession stands going. And it could be like that for 0-9, or it could be like it was tonight, where the stands are packed for a high-octane rivalry match, and that was what you're looking for. Atmospheres like tonight are testaments to this area and how much it means. And I think that the state titles, and it's not because the whole project was about legacy.
Right.
It was about how legacy is told and how it is carried. It's not by titles. It's by a great example is last year. I did a really interesting story about the Wolford brothers, right? You had Cade and Bodie.
Right.
Bodie has kind of been in Cade's shadow for a while.
Yeah.
Now Bodie's creating his own name, and it didn't go his way tonight, but he's been playing pretty well. And I think
great football.
I think Bodie is well on his way to forging his own legacy. And then their dad is like a leading rusher in Jackson football history.
Legend.
And it's like family.
Coached us.
Yeah, family family legacy. Even like the mom sent me pictures of them in like grade school doing like I did a video package or Gridiron with it, and there's a clip of Cade like juking a middle schooler.
Right.
Like those are the sort of stories that just kind of tell why this area it means so much, because you got these kids who have grown up in Jackson, have been dreaming of putting on that eye on that helmet.
It's a
and
real
that
dream.
J. It is. And it's a dream for thousands of kids in this area, whether it's a Jay or a Tiger or a Bulldog or whatever mascot it is. You go to those games as first, second, third graders. You're part of that group of kids that's always behind the end zone throwing the football, and you're imagining that that's you catching that football. And that's what it means. And don't think that the talent in this area isn't there. There's only a quarterback who may have won the Heisman and won a few other things and might be a very highly paid quarterback in the National Football League who came right from our area. Joe Burrow's pretty dang good at football.
Not bad.
So, and there's been plenty of other talented players. They send out D1 kids all the time.
Right.
Ironton's got multiple D1 commits. Jackson has multiple D1 commits.
Yeah.
There's a lot of football talent in this area. And I think it's only a matter of time before that state title curse, I guess, if you want. I put air quotes around it. We don't have a camera on us.
Yeah.
I think it's only a matter of time before Ironton might do it this year. They have a real shot. And I think if they can get by Harvest Prep, I don't know who stops them.
Who knows?
They're loaded from top to bottom, and I'm really excited to see what that team does.
Yeah. You and I both, a lot of good things coming out of Ironton tonight. By the way, I want to thank you if you're listening. It's Football Friday Night's post game brought to you by General Mills. We're broadcasting live from the Holzer Hill System studio in Jackson this evening. Bub, your thoughts on any other games? We had some breaking news occur.
Oh, boy.
And this is big.
Oh,
this is big. And boys and girls, it's about Oakver-time.
That's what I thought.
It's about Oakver-time in the woods, Bub.
I couldn't cut off Pete while he's giving stats.
Pete Wilson's the only person we can't cut off.
No,
he's my
the only
inspiration for
person.
the stats.
The only person. Bub, let the people know what happens in Oakver-time.
Oak Hill takes the win 35
Gets
to
it
28
done
on
Jason Fitzhugh.
Goal line fumble.
Oh, man.
In the end zone. And Oak Hill
like
recovers.
movie ending?
Yes.
Oh,
like as he's crossing the plane, that ball comes out and Oak Hill recovers. They go on to win 35 to 28.
35-28.
Big win for a program.
Bill Davis Stadium.
Big
The
win
Oak
for that
Hill
program.
Oaks. Jason Fitzhugh. Eddie Abley at quarterback. They get it done, Bub.
They're partying late into the night tonight.
Late into the night.
Yeah, they're going to be
Oakver-time.
Big party.
We're in Oakver-time this evening. We're going to be going for at least another hour here. Probably wrapping it up in another hour here, I will say.
Yeah.
Boys and girls, thank you for being here with us. If you're listening to us on Pure Rock 105, XTQ FM, Pure Rock 99.5, BYG FM, Mix 96.7 WKOV, or 100.9 Hank FM. Let's get back to some scores. Boys and girls, my sheet's not filled out. I need more scores from you. What do we have in the area?
Let's see. I did just write one down. Where was it? It was West Jeff Washington Courthouse went final. That is 56 to 22. Western Brown, after losing last week, get a I said West Jeff Washington Courthouse.
Yes, sir.
Western Brown Washington Courthouse.
Let's do it.
56 to 22 the final. The Broncos steamroll Washington Courthouse. I guess I'll just say which ones I don't have right now.
Yeah, at this point,
we can
let's
start
do
looking at that.
Let's
and
do
if
that.
anybody, I believe, if anybody has scores, tag us on Facebook.
Let
us
us know.
Tag me on Twitter at Ethan_Sargent. Tag me. Let me know if anybody's got scores. We're looking for them because at the end of the night, we'll go through them all. I do not have a Crooksville Southern score. I do not have a.
That was a good. We were looking forward to that one.
It was a good game. I do not have a Hillsboro Goshen score.
I actually do have that. It was 32-7 Hillsboro.
All right,
they took a pretty
big win for the
convincing
Indians.
win.
That's
in
a
that
nice
one.
win.
Wow.
That's a nice win.
For a team that came off a disappointing loss to Western Brown last week, they were in pretty much control of that game. End up letting it slip by their hands at the end of the game by 3 points. Good win for the Hillsboro Indians. That in the FAC as a whole, because they struggled to find wins last week.
Well, keep in mind, too, you said FAC as a whole. You lost to Western Brown last week by 3 points. Western Brown goes on the road to Washington Courthouse this week, blows out the conference opponent, Blue Lions.
Yeah.
Hillsboro's looking pretty good in the FAC
They had a good year last year as well. They were kind of hanging around, and they were, I believe, at the same conference record when they played Jackson last year, and then Jackson did what they do to a lot of people in the FAC and blew them out of the water. So another game I'm very interested in seeing the final. There are two that I'm very interested in.
Yeah.
Miami Trace Wilmington hasn't come in yet.
I
that
actually
one
got
is
you
looking
on that
good.
one.
Let's hear it.
Ooh,
I'm
21-19 Miami Trace.
They got it done.
That's
I
a big
didn't
win.
waver.
That's
on
a
them.
big win for the Panthers.
Yeah, for a dark horse FAC winner.
I didn't. I didn't.
And
I
then
took Wilmington. Go
this
ahead.
one is very interesting because I saw a score. It is not final. Amanda Clear Creek was leading 27-21 on Uniola.
Ooh.
And I did not have a final score on that yet. It is not final, so we will not confirm it as final.
We do not carry those games, so we can't let you know ourselves.
Yeah, so we're going to keep an eye on that one. That one's all the way up. At this point, almost 2 hours north of us up in Amanda. That is a long ways away. A bit of a trip for Uniola. A bit of a hike up there to the MSL. But it is will be interesting to see when that final comes out. Colgrove was up a couple of touchdowns on Valley, but that final is not in yet either. And I believe Rock Hill was up pretty big on Sims Valley. I'm pretty confident in saying Rock Hill won, but there's no final score. Okay. So if you're a Rock Hill fan tuning in, pretty confident in saying your guys got the job done, but not quite sure on a final score just yet. I think that's my list. Only 5-ish games left. Not much. Here we go. Bub's got his hand up. I think we might.
Bub,
I believe
do you have a question?
We haven't discussed.
Do you have a question for the teacher?
The Caldwell Waterford game.
Oh yes, I had that one, but I didn't mention it.
26-14 Caldwell. I thought this was Waterford's game to take. If there was ever a time for them to take the third win of that series, I felt like it was tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Waterford been playing well. Coming off a convincing win last week against Alexander. I like more than anything I'm saying.
So there is a lightning delay. This is thanks to Carl. Carl just texted me this. Our
Shout out Carl Blaylock, sports director.
A lightning delay right now at Amanda Clear Creek. 2 minutes and 49 seconds left.
Oh, my.
Amanda Clear Creek still up 27-21. Shermans have the ball, but they're at their own 10.
Oh.
So they have to go 90 yards in
There's a chance.
2:49. Absolutely a chance. And you know with that offense, it could be like that.
Score.
It could
You
be
can wait until 2 o'clock to finish that game. You wait it out.
It could be one play. So
Coach Hoops in that offense got a task ahead of
Bodie
him.
Martin for Amanda Clear Creek had a 54-yard touchdown run. I got a nice little Twitter thread here. Shout out Thomas Wilson on Twitter, Lancaster Eagles Gazette sports writer.
Love you, Tommy.
Stuff there. Bodie Martin had a 54-yard touchdown to give Amanda a 4 or 5 point lead, and then they got a 2-point conversion. So it was 25-21. They scored a 2-pointer, made it 27-21. So now this lightning delay is underway. And there has not been an update in 28 minutes. So I imagine that it's probably the 30 minutes. Usually, if you're at like a water park or something, it's like 30 minutes from the last lightning strike. So we'll have to see. That one might be we're getting that score at like 12:30. That's a late night score.
Let's go ahead and go down the list of scores that I got here. I got Alexander defeating East yesterday, Southerville East yesterday, 21-0. I got Ironton defeating Jackson 51-14 this evening. Logan shutting out the Buckeyes 19-0. Athens just rolling the Blue Devils in Memorial Stadium 55-6. Fairfield Union winning 48-6 here. Also, I've got a final score of the Wellston game. It sounds like we may have had the incorrect final up to this point. We were reporting 21-19. I am told the final of that game here per Bub, who gave us the wrong. No, I'm just kidding. 34-27 Rockets.
Oh,
So a
wow.
little
They
bit-
scored more points than we anticipated.
So Wellston did win still?
They did win
They did
still.
win.
I thought the way you were talking, I
Nope,
thought you
nope,
were going to
nope,
say that
nope.
that
Just
Piketon won.
incorrect score. Just
Okay.
an
Big
incorrect
win
score.
for Wellston.
34-27?
34-27 for the Rockets. Let's keep it moving here. Circleville knocks off the Vinton County Vikings 35-14. Oak Hill does hold on to beat Fairfield Christian in overtime,
I love that.
35
You got to like
to
trademark
28.
that or something.
Yeah, I free football in the woods. We're down for it. Waverly did beat Zane Trace. You guys got a score on that? I don't have one written down. Waverly over Zane Trace,
28-7.
28-7 in Tiger Town. Eastern Beaver defeating Huntington Huntsman in the township 34-7. Fairland Dragons taking it over the bridge to Point Pleasant this evening, 30-13 for the Fairland Dragons. We can talk about that one in a few if we want. Bub, we're still waiting to see if they've accepted your apology from last week. Eastern Megs knocks off Rhett County, West Virginia, 47-16. Trimble over Bern Union, 46-13. Caldwell knocks off a red hot Waterford team, 26-14. London does what London does against Chillicothe, who unfortunately has kind of done what they've done. 42-0. Hillsborough over Goshen, 32-7. I don't have a Northwest over McLean score just yet. We're working on getting that one to you. Miami Trace at Wilmington, 21-19. Western Brown did get the win over Washington Courthouse. The score on that one, you guys said?
What was it?
I'm sorry, Western Brown at Washington Courthouse.
55-20, I believe.
56-22.
A lot of points for Western Brown, not as many for Courthouse.
Yeah.
West Jefferson at Bainbridge, Paint Valley. Paint Valley gets it done 28-14. Madison Plains, kind of a shock of the evening, 41-6 at Southeastern. We're still waiting to report a final for you from Amanda Clear Creek in Unioto. That one's at Amanda Clear Creek. Again, a lightning delay on that one. Westfall falls at Logan Elm, 42-14. Chesapeake defeats Minford by shutout victory, 42-0. Valley falls to, are we waiting on a final, Valley Coldgrove?
I think we do have a final.
Do we have
on
one
that
finally?
Yeah, 30-16. That is a final.
Wow.
Coldgrove over Valley.
30-16.
Nice little bounce back win there for the Hornets after a bit of a struggle last week. They get a nice response.
30-16 there. Portsmouth West at Portsmouth, 41-7. Portsmouth gets it done there. Rock Hill, we think, up to this point, knocking off Sims Valley.
35-6, the last update I had.
Okay. Pretty confident that the Rock Hill, Scott Miller and his crew are going to get it done down there. Spring Valley knocks off the South Point Pointers 55-20. Wheelersburg falls to Archbishop McNicholas 34-3. Grove City Christian at Green. Grove City wins 45-0. Morgan at Warren 24-21. So that's everything we have up to this point.
Ethan, you got the Marietta score? I believe you said
10-zip.
10
I think
zip.
it was 10-zip. Yeah.
Big win for Marietta. Big shutout.
Yeah.
They played some good
and
defense.
again, we talk about that game. I mean, we look ahead a little bit to next week. We could do that as we go through this last kind of hour that we have. That Athens game, boy, you circle that one. That is a big game, not just a D3 Region 11, but for both of those schools to start 3-0 potentially. The opportunity lies ahead. That is going to be a fun football game. And those are two schools that Marietta is a hard-hitting football team. We've seen it in the past. They have got some athletes on that school and on that football field. Athens, I mean, Alex Piro was back to work again tonight, had a couple more touchdowns on the ground. I'm sure we'll get stats at some point from our guys over at WATH. They look dominant again against Scally Academy. And I don't see very many losses on the schedule for Athens. Not many at all. So it could be very interesting to see where things go for the Bulldogs.
Marietta's been playing some phenomenal defense, too. 10 points tonight they gave up.
Yep. No, 0 points.
0 points tonight they gave up. They gave up 12 last week. Crazy.
6 points per game is pretty good. I got another score update for you.
Go ahead.
River Valley at South Gallia. The Rebels take it 42-7.
42-7. River Valley falls to the South Gallia Rebels. Shout out to our buddy Travis Elliott in the Crown City.
He sleeps happy tonight.
He's
got 2 wins under his belt.
He's going to sleep real happy this evening. We're going to take another break here. A lot more to come. We're going to get these scores finalized here, and we're going to get them to you as quickly as we can. We got a lot to come. Keep it right here. You're listening to Total Media Sports Football Friday Nights postgame, brought to you by General Mills.
Call on all hunters and outdoor enthusiasts. It's time to gear up for your next adventure with our buy one, get two free sale on select styles at Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. That's right, 3 pairs of boots for the price of one. Whether you plan to hit the deer woods this fall, need new hiking boots for the trails, or even a new pair of work boots, we've got you covered. So don't miss out. Stop and see us today at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come get fully set up for the fall at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
Trying to find a durable new look for your retail office, house, garage, or new barn dominium? Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding has added 2 new profiles within the past year that would make great options. A heavier 26-gauge metal board and batten with several colors to choose from adds a fresh new look to any project regardless of size. Or come in and check out our new options for standing seam. If it's steel roofing and siding, it comes from Higgins. Located in Hillsboro and Jackson, Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding. Family owned and operated since 1958.
Looking for a home away from home for your furry friend? Welcome to Red Woof Inn, where tails wag and dreams come true. At Red Woof, we offer spacious play areas, cozy naps, and personalized care from our dedicated team. Whether your pup loves fetch or just snuggling, we've got it covered. Our facilities are top-notch and our staff are dog lovers through and through. From playtime adventures to treat-filled cuddle sessions, we ensure your pup has a blast. Give your dog a vacation they'll love at Red Woof Inn, located on Old Dixon Road in MacArthur. Call 740-649-8640 to book your fur baby stay while spots are still available.
Looking to buy or sell a home in Southern Ohio? Turn to Howard Hanna Real Estate Services and the McNerlin Network team. We offer a full range of services including mortgages, insurance, and title services to ensure a smooth process. Our new Buy Borrow Bundle program can save buyers up to $10,000 at closing and attract more buyers when selling. Ready to get started? Call 740-702-6000 or text 614-607-8201 for a free consultation. Howard Hanna Real Estate Services, where your home happens here.
Football season is here. Keep your athletes at their best with Holzer in Athens. Dr. Jason Cox Orthopedics and Dr. Aaron Ramsey Chiropractic Care are currently accepting new patients. From follow-up care to injury repair, our healthcare team at Holzer Athens will keep your athlete in the game. Call 855-446-5937 to schedule your appointment today. That's 855-446-5937.
Are you craving mouth-watering, finger-licking barbecue that'll have you coming back for more? Look no further than Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, where real wood and real flavor rules supreme. Sink your teeth into our signature smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and juicy brisket, all slow-cooked to perfection with our secret blend of spices. And don't forget our delectable sides. From creamy mac and cheese to tangy coleslaw, there's something to satisfy every craving. Come visit us at our location in the Plains or online. Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, real wood, real flavor.
And we're back. You're listening to Football Friday Night's postgame, brought to you by General Mills, broadcasting live from the Holzer Health System studio in Jackson. We want to thank you for listening. If you're listening to us on our Pure Rock stations, 105 XTQ FM and 99.5 BYG FM, rocking along the river there. Mix 96 WKOV out of Jackson, 100.9 Hank FM, 100.1 WXZQ, and 92.1 WYVK Middleport Pomeroy. We are rocking high school football in the 7-4. Boys and girls, thank you for being here with us this evening. It's back.
And
it's
really
week 2.
The whole 7-4.
At this point,
social media, because we're all over the place.
It's awesome.
Everywhere. Wherever you're tuning in across all those stations, you just very, very well listed off.
I might need one of those trainers from Holzer.
Yeah.
You know, Kelly Roush.
Might need another one of those popsicles.
Oh man, Kelly Roush, Dr. Kelly Roush.
Yeah, she was
phenomenal.
Very helpful. She helped out with the package this week too. She was on the and she gave us electrolyte pops.
Man,
so
and those tasted, by the way. I'm going to start buying those for my kids if they're not too expensive. I'm sure they are. We appreciate that kind of hospitality. Shout out to Waylon Massey, of course, the Jackson Athletic Director, bringing us some waters as well, keeping us hydrated. It was hot there, but we loved it.
Mom,
we loved it.
MVPs.
That was our game of the week. We got more to come though. Northwest McLean final. Another overtime.
Oh, wow.
This
a lot
one,
of action.
Boys and girls. Northwest, after a shutout last week, getting it done 19-13 in McLean.
Yeah, what
in
a big
Greenfield.
win for Northwest.
Very impressive.
That's a nice win.
A win over an FAC team. I believe I took McLean in this one.
I did.
I did. I liked the Tigers.
Yeah, I did.
I don't want to talk about my picks this week.
We don't. Yeah, well, yeah.
You know, it was real dependent on the offensive showing from McLean. They didn't really prove a lot last game, and again, they just couldn't find it this week. Only putting up 13. I mean, a good defensive effort again. Only giving up 19. The FAC taking a lot of L's so far.
Yeah, and
this season.
And for McLean, I mean, taking some L's, but some interesting losses though. We get, you guys both liked McLean over Adena last week as well. I think this was a McLean squad that we anticipated would come out winning the first couple of games here. They didn't in week 1. They get back on track in week 2. So yeah, hard fought victory there. More free football in overtime as well.
I think I've got our last final. That Rock Hill Sims Valley game was final at 35-6. So that is the final score. Next week, the Battle of 93 between Rock Hill and Oak Hill. Gonna be a fun.
Yes!
We'll have to. Yeah. That'll have to get a nice spotlight on the show. That'll be a fun game. Oak Hill coming in hot after that win. Rock Hill's played very well this year as well. 2-0 to start the year for Rock Hill.
Yeah,
going to be an interesting game for sure. But Oak Hill's got to be fired up coming into that.
I got to tell you, that's going to be a fun game. You can call it the Battle of 93. Also, the Battle of the Hills.
Yeah,
Rock Hill, Oak Hill. Who knows there? I can tell you, you're going to get two things. You're going to get fun football, and you're going to get absolutely no cell phone service. Shout out to the Oaks that also got it done in overtime this evening. Again, big win over Fairfield Christian Academy in overtime. That one on 97.7 The Bull, and of course streaming here on Total Media Sports YouTube. But is that you said that was our last final, boys and girls? That was the last
waiting
one.
on the
We're waiting on that Unioto Creek game.
Yeah.
That game is not final yet.
Right.
That game is in a weather delay. That game is currently in a lightning delay. Still no updates as of 10:57 p.m. Eastern time. That is when they were in a lightning delay. 2:49 left. And you really can't call this game. You can't. With the situation that it's in, you kind of have to play these last 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Unioto has the ball down 6. You can't really call it there. You have to find a way to play this game. Right now, there hasn't been any updates from the sports writer that's at this game, at least as of now. And I'm feverishly updating my X to see if I can catch a final or maybe something happening in that one. But as of right now, that game is locked at 2:47 fourth quarter. But that is the last one that we have to get. Everything else is in.
Did we mention the Kirksville Southern score?
I got to tell you,
I don't think we did. We talked about that while we were in the break, but I don't think we put that out on the air.
Let's do it.
This one's coming from Mom.
Oh, that's awesome.
Whoa.
Kirksville defeated Southern with a score of 27-20. What? I can't believe Mom would break that news to us.
So stupid. Yeah, we celebrate Racine Christmas every year with our family down there, so that's the tie there. That's the tie to the Racine Southern Tornadoes there. So using family ties on this one to break that news.
Hey, we got to use the resources.
Got to use what you got. And here we are, boys and girls. It's funny, Ethan, you mentioned it's kind of the last couple of games that we're waiting on in the area. It's been a long day. It's been a hot day.
Sapping.
And it's all coming to a close here. And we appreciate you guys being here with us as we round out all of these games here. Any other notable games that you all wanted to take a look at from the area, we can talk those things. That's what we're here for. Let's go ahead and get to a couple of them.
I mean, there were a few that caught my eye. We talked about a few of them earlier. We talked about that Sheridan beating Watkins, and then West Muskingum beating Licking Valley. A couple of interesting, more northern scores. I know we're down in Jackson. We're all the way down near the southernmost part of the state. But for a lot of our listeners, especially out at WXTQ in Athens, which is kind of that circular point, that middle point where you kind of get a lot of those Columbus area schools even up there. And then you can get down as far here, Jackson, Ironton, FAC country. I'm actually looking ahead to next week because next week's slate, let me tell you, there are some fun games that I look at on this. I got
Let's
one.
take a look.
My eyes just lit up at one. Miami Trace Logan Elm. My eyes lit up at that game. That is fun.
Okay.
That could be a
high scoring, high octane game. Cabell Midland always provides a challenge. That is a tough game. Ironton are going to be coming off a high again. you know that they're not going to rest. They're going to take Cabell Midland seriously. But they've beat Ironton very recently. They beat Ironton last year. This is a Cabell Midland team that always shows up when it matters. Fairland taking on Fairfield Union is another one. Fairfield Union, a nice bounce back week. Fairland looking as impetuous as ever. And then a couple of the games that we have on our different radio networks. Piketon going to have to bounce back against Valley. We'll see if Unioto can pull off a comeback. But even if they can't, they're going to be staring down the barrel of 1 and 2. They go to Waverly next week. That's a big-time game.
Big-time game in Tigertown.
Jackson-Wheelersburg is a big one. Couple of teams coming off of a loss. And then that Athens-Marietta game will be at Point Pleasant versus Gallia Academy. I do like Point Pleasant putting up a nice fight against Fairland. They 16 points, not bad. Kept it close. I'd actually say Point Pleasant are slight favorites heading into next week's matchup. I think that they'll have to feel a little bit of confidence. Seeing the start to Gallia's season that they've had, Gallia's on a confidence low right now. Point Pleasant, they take their lumps today, but that's a really good Fairland team. They'll go into next week confident, feeling like they can go to Gallia and get a result.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to be there for that one. And just the Battle of the Bridge, they call it. The Battle of the Bridge. And Gallia, Point Pleasant, going to be a fun one. Two teams that hope to get their season kind of on track moving forward, Bub. Going to be a fun one there.
Yeah, and one of the games tonight that really stuck out to me the most was that Portsmouth West against Portsmouth for two reasons. One, I've never seen a Portsmouth West team that started out the season 0-2 in the manner that they have. And on the other hand, is this the Portsmouth where they finally put it all together? Because whenever I was playing Portsmouth, it was always they had the athletic ability, they had the big guys up front. They were always a good.
That was the last year's Portsmouth team.
Yeah.
That last year's Portsmouth team was loaded with those types of guys.
I'm just looking at them like, I'm excited to see if this team can, take it all the way this year and put.
We do have our last final.
Let's do it.
In, and it is that score 27-21. Amanda Clear Creek wins.
Wow,
over Unioto. So that
big win for the
Unioto. I mean, I don't know where it could have gone wrong today for them. I mean, maybe Amanda's a little bit better than we thought. Maybe that was a team that's gone through some turmoil recently. They've had some struggles over the last couple of years, and that's an impressive win. That's a nice bounce. I mean, they were really good for a while. They had some issues in the coaching ranks, and now they're back up. Maybe they're back up this year. And in the MSL, with Bloom Carroll losing tonight, we mentioned that earlier. MSL could be wide open. Hamilton Township, I believe, lost tonight. Logan Elm's got to be the early front runner in there. So it's anybody's race. And I mean, look, it's early. It's week 2. Very early to talk about conference races. Haven't been many conference games, but when you look at these non-cons, you got to, obviously, the most important thing for these is the playoff points and the factor that adds in later in the year when you're looking for seeding in those home playoff games, but just kind of measures teams. And we're kind of seeing we're sifting through that proverbial sand, trying to find those little grains of gold. And I think they're starting to show up just a little bit, a few of these teams.
Yeah, I think Matt Hoops and his team have obviously a little bit of a bounce back. I had Amanda Clear Creek in this game. I just felt like it was, you open up at home, there's a lot of momentum at home. Unioto did that last week. They beat the Tar, Vinton County, MacArthur. I love you all. Shout out to all of you in Allensville as well. Anyway, but the Vikings got to get it back on track at some point as well. I think Unioto will be fine in the SVC. Unioto will do good things in the SVC this year. I think they'll do big things. Definitely in the talk of conference champions, especially now that Piketon didn't look so great tonight. Huntington fell big time tonight. So SVC looks like it's ready for the taking for Matt Hoops and his squad over there. Amanda Clear Creek, though, fell last week by 3 points to Lyndon McKinley. Not a terrible loss for the Aces last week. I thought this was a big test for them. Chet Som, he had his team ready, Bub. Chet Som is the head coach for the Aces. Chet Som.
Like Psalm, like
S-A-M, like Sam?
P-S-A-L-M?
Som is in the way my grandfather would tell me he saw somebody. I saw him at the grocery store. That type of thing. I don't know. Great win for the Aces.
I'm really curious of how the weather conditions were at that game and if that played a factor into Unioto's offense struggling.
That's a good point.
That's a great
We saw that downpour.
Great point.
Pass-heavy team with Isaac Coy and Blake Hoops.
It decided to.
I'm interested.
I'm sorry for talking over you, Bub. I am excited because it did finally decide to rain in Southern Ohio. D3 drought for those of you that keep up with your agricultural data. Anyway, let's keep it moving here. I think at this point we have now gotten every score. Any major surprises? Something just caught you completely off guard this evening? Was not expecting to catch that.
I thought the Piketon game, the outcome of the Piketon-Wellston game, I was looking at Piketon this week, and I expected them as heavy favorites going into it, and Wellston turned the tides and took care of business.
Okay. Yeah, I like that pick. That's a great pick. Let me take a look at this list. There were a couple that caught my eye. I love Miami Trace bouncing back against Wilmington. That is a team, again, that I talked about week one as a team that can make some noise. They lose a tough one to Waverly, but it really does seem like now that win talks more about how good Waverly is than how maybe not good Miami Trace is.
Miami Trace played them close.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's a tight game. And I think that Miami Trace I think they took some confidence from that, and they now build on it this week at a nice win against Wilmington. They're going to be a tough team to beat in FAC play.
A lot of surprises in week 2.
I mean, the 72 points by Fort Friday night sticks out like a sore thumb.
That's crazy. Yeah. When you go down the list of scores, it kind of does.
Yeah.
It kind of does. Hey, we're going to take another break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Football Friday Night's postgame, brought to you by General Mills.
Southeast Appalachian Regional Community Health of Ohio is proud to present The Search Project. The Search Project through the Jackson County Health Department is a program designed to decrease the negative impacts of COVID-19 and other public health issues and promote healthy behaviors through the deployment of community health work. The project is funded by CDC and serves 11 counties in southeastern Ohio. For more information, contact the Jackson County Health Department at 740-935-6322.
The General Mills Company of Wellston, manufacturers of great items like Totino's Pizza and Totino's Pizza Rolls, are proud to be a part of the Southern Ohio community. The General Mills Company, just like its hard-working employees in Southern Ohio, are proud supporters of our area youth. The General Mills Company wishes good luck to all area high school teams this season. A message from your friends at General Mills Company in Wellston.
Need new tires? Rick's Tire and Auto has you covered. Looking for top-notch auto service? Rick's Tire and Auto has expertise. And now they're bringing their A-game to Athens County. Owned by Rick Dieter, formerly of Huddle Tire in Athens. Rick's Tire and Auto Service is located at 1353 East Canal Street in Nelsonville. Right off the first Nelsonville exit on 33 West. Stop in for a quick tire change or oil change, or schedule an appointment by calling 220-218-4169. At Rick's Tire and Auto, we have your vehicle covered.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides a direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone in crisis. For 24/7 confidential support, just call, text, or chat 988. Brought to you by the Suicide Prevention Coalitions of Athens, Gallia, Jackson, Meigs, and Pike counties.
Everyone knows Nick's Station is home to Footlong Fridays. But did you also know that it's home to the best burgers and milkshakes in town? Bring your kids for a soft serve ice cream treat or have some quality time with family and friends with a delicious lunch or dinner at Nick's. Nick's Station is located at 1111 Chestnut Street in Nelsonville and open Tuesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Come on down to Nick's Station in Nelsonville, home to Footlong Fridays and fresh, delicious food and ice cream treats, served up quickly with a smile.
Are you looking to make a difference in a child's life? At Necco Foster Care, we believe every child deserves a life.
And we're back. You're listening to Total Media Sports Football Friday Night's postgame, brought to you by General Mills. And now we are being joined by head coach Trevin Pendleton here, and head coach Trevin Pendleton from the Ironton Tigers calling in after a big-time win against the Jackson Ironmen at Alumni Stadium. Coach Pendleton, can you hear us? Coach, do we got you? All right, hey, we'll try again here in just a moment. We're trying to get connected with them, boys and girls, again. Football Friday night, back in the 7-4-0. Our game of the week here this evening. We were at Alumni Stadium for the mega showdown in week 2, the Ironton Fighting Tigers against the Jackson Ironmen. And we're hoping to hear from Coach Pendleton here in just a moment. And Coach, if you can hear us, call back here, and we'll get you back on here. But anyway, more to come there. And
Love to hear his thoughts.
We would love to hear from Coach Pendleton. We'll get him up and going here. Thanks to all of our listeners on all of our Total Media radio stations: Pure Rock 105 XTQ FM, Pure Rock 99.5 BYG FM, Mix 96 WKOV, 100.9 Hank FM, 100.1 WXZQ, and 92.1 WYVK Middleport Pomeroy. We appreciate all of you tuning in here along the 740. And boys and girls, Football Friday Night's back. We talked about some of the surprises in the area. Ethan mentioned some of the key matchups moving forward. Bub, what were some of your biggest takeaways from this evening?
My biggest takeaway is that I need to start picking better. There was a lot of games that surprised me tonight. Like I said, I thought the Piketon-Wellston one was the biggest one that stood out. And again, Portsmouth just taking a big win against Portsmouth West, 41-7. I thought that was another significant one. I thought Berg would put up a significant more fight against McNick, but from the sounds of it, they sounded a little just defeated already at the start of the season. And I'm hoping that they can turn it around week 3, but I'm not hoping too much because it is against Iron Man.
I will say just really quickly, because I think we're going to get Coach Pendleton here on the phone in just a second. If you miss the scores, guys, we're going to send you to the Total Media Sports Facebook. Carl is about to post all the scores on Facebook right now, so go check it out on our Facebook right now.
Okay, excellent. And where you got Coach Trevin Pendleton on the phone from the Ironton Fighting Tigers. Coach, can you hear us? Oh, there we go.
Yes, I can.
Hey, Coach. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to join us here on Football Friday Night's postgame. We appreciate it, Coach. Huge win for your team tonight. You rolled into Alumni Stadium, and you did something that Jackson folks don't see every day, 51-14 victory. Talk to us about that victory, if you don't mind, and what that means to your team heading into Week 3.
Obviously, Jackson's a very solid football team, very well coached. They do all the little things right year in, year out, it seems like. And, obviously, we was able to capitalize on some things. We was able to weather the storm a little bit early, and then when we got an opportunity, we was able to make some plays and put some points on the scoreboard.
I'll tell you what, that was about as poised a team as you could have been. The Alumni Stadium, after Nolan Johnson broke off the first play of the game, second play of the game, whatever it was, your team responded so well. You guys are prepared for that. Is that something you guys talked about throughout the week? Be prepared for Jackson's big plays as well. You're a big play team yourself.
I mean, you're playing a good football team, so, we're not naive to the fact that they got really good players and, they do things correctly, and they're going to have opportunities to make big plays. So, we talked to our team about kind of games, and, sometimes you got to weather the storm and, just ride it out until you get to the other side. And then when you got a chance to make big plays, you got to capitalize and you got to make those big plays on the other end. And, we saw both ends of the spectrum tonight. We had to weather the storm for a little bit.
Yeah.
Then we was able to beat the storm for a little bit. And, that's kind of, the nature of football games. When people look at it, it's a matter of, 5, 6 to 7 plays that really change the football game.
Right. Yeah, we're right there with you. Bub's gears are turning here to my right. So, Bub, I think he's got a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach. I'm curious. As a program, Ironton's always had success. But in the recent years, you've really taken it to another level. What's the biggest factor for you in this program taking it to that other level?
First and foremost, just surrounded myself with a great staff, guys that are willing to put in time and the effort, and that just want to get better each and every day. And then on top of that, we got kids that take football very seriously. They buy into it. They do all the little details day in, day out, all year long. They take them to heart and they try to get better at it. And honestly, it makes them better off the field too. Not just better football players, but better community members and better life members.
Coach, we see the effort that you put into your program on and off the field, and we see the effort on every aspect. The weight room stuff that you guys post, the on the field stuff, the social media stuff you guys do is incredible. Just saw the big update to Tank Stadium as well with the big Jumbotron. You guys are doing incredible things, man. We're big fans of Ironton tradition. We're big fans of Ironton football, and we wish your team all the best going forward as you go through a gauntlet schedule here in Southern Ohio. I love the independent thing. How is going independent do you think going to help Ironton get to the Canton and kind of get over that hump and get to what I know your ultimate goal is, a state championship?
Yeah, I think it allows us to.
Yeah. All right, the Battle of 93 is already in effect. We're starting to lose cell service there.
I wanted to, Coach, really quickly. I know that you probably have run out of superlatives to talk about Sean Terry, but I want you to take me through that dramatic play that he had late in the first half, 3rd down and long. He takes the ball on a direct snap, and I'll let you describe the rest. What did you see on that play? And then I wanted to ask you about your quarterback. I thought your quarterback played a really, really, really solid game tonight.
Step up.
I thought that he
Step
stepped up, made plays with his arm, made plays with his legs. What can you say about the poise that he showed tonight?
Yeah. Nope. Great athlete there. Coach Pendleton of the Ironton Tigers. We appreciate your time. Congratulations on a huge victory this evening against the Jackson Ironmen, 51-14. Coach, but best of luck to you on the rest of your season. We appreciate you joining us here. Thanks so much. All right. I'm not sure if we lost Coach at this point or not. Coach, you still with us? All right. I'm not sure if we lost him or not, but Coach Pendleton, man, Ironton Fighting Tigers, definitely had his squad prepared this evening. And I'm going to go ahead and give the man some credit because it sounds like he wants to do nothing but give credit to everybody else. That guy had his team really prepared this evening, and is just a tough night. We're Jackson guys at heart. We are, bub. And it's just a tough night to be at Alumni Stadium, watching it as an Ironman, but a super exciting night to be watching Southeast Ohio football.
Ironton is the staple of what you want your culture to be in a football program and the community it surrounds itself by. We were talking about that on a kickoff.
The crowd and stuff.
It's a community in the stands over there.
Yeah, it really is.
Like they were getting up for whenever Ironton was kicking off. They've just created a culture there where the fans and the players bond so well together. And it's the blueprint of what, you should have in a program.
And they do it all so well. Like, it flows like the perfect machine. And they've truly built it into, I think we should stop sugarcoating it. It's a juggernaut. I mean, this is a program that year after year, week after week, big win after big win, playoff run after playoff run. Until last year, it was OVC title after OVC title. Now they don't have a conference to worry about. So now they're just focused on getting ready because they have one goal on their mind at the end of the year. And they're, like you said, we've talked about it a few times tonight, there's absolutely could be Canton in this team's future. But that is not what they're thinking about right now. The only thing on Ironton's mind right now is Cabell Midland next week. And I think that is how Coach Pendleton has built this team to be as good as they are because they don't look ahead. They are focused on one game at a time. They could have easily overlooked last week for Jackson. Yeah. They did not. They cruised into Wheelersburg and won that game. They could have overlooked this week for Cabell Midland. Didn't. Cruised again. And it seems like Ironton's only issue is they don't come out of the block super fast. It seems like early in games they let teams hang around and then the quality shows. Imagine if this team started like they finished. Yeah. I mean, they could blow teams out of the water right out of the bat.
Well, they're only going to get better as we talked about with as the year goes on. Trevin Pendleton, he's no stranger to strategic moves. He's going to learn a lot about that football team. He's a Rose Bowl champion, bub. He's not he knows ball. Yeah. He knows a thing or two about a thing or two. I'm sure he's got West Virginia to pick with Penn State tomorrow. Anyway,
he doesn't know it all.
We won't worry about
Somebody is You are so bought in on West.
He is.
I just know.
He's about as bought in as the Saints defense last year in fantasy football for some reason.
Country roads, take us to a break. We'll be right back. Football Friday Nights postgame brought to you by General Mills.
Are you age 55 plus and ready to make a difference in your community? COAD's AmeriCorps Senior Retired Senior Volunteer Program allows seniors age 55 and up who pass a background check to help with community-based services such as veteran services, disaster relief, and environmental care through local nonprofits. If this interests you, please contact Danielle Woodyard at 740-286-4918 or email dwoodyard@coadinc.org. COAD, the Corporation for Ohio Appalachian Development, is here to help you and the community.
Tired of that annoying drip? Call Rogers Plumbing and More. With over 20 years of experience, Rogers Plumbing and More has been your trusted local expert for residential plumbing. From running toilets to hot water tanks on the brink, Rogers is your go-to for all your plumbing needs. Call Rogers Plumbing and More at 740-447-4589. Rogers Plumbing and More. We fix it right the first time. Visit us online at rogersplumbingandmore.com.
At Adventure Pro Outdoors, we are the experts in outdoor fun. Spend the day on the Hocking River, canoeing, kayaking, or tubing. Sling some mud through Wayne National Forest on a guided Polaris side-by-side tour. Or book a 3-wheeled slingshot and experience the most scenic highways in Southeast Ohio.
Come meet the Adventure Pro staff on Canal Street in Nelsonville, Ohio.
New memories start here. Visit AdventureProOutdoors.com.
The General Mills Company of Wellston, manufacturers of great items like Totino's Pizza and Totino's Pizza Rolls, are proud to be a part of the Southern Ohio community. The General Mills Company, just like its hard-working employees in Southern Ohio, are proud supporters of our area youth. The General Mills Company wishes good luck to all area high school teams this season. A message from your friends at General Mills Company in Wellston.
Hungry for some home-cooked goodness just like Grandma's? Come on down to Mammy's Country Kitchen in Albany. Whether it's our mouth-watering meatloaf, crisp salads, or our creamy mashed potatoes, we've got something to satisfy every craving. Savor some of our homemade noodles, rolls, and desserts. At Mammy's, we believe in good food and great company. Bring your family and friends and stay a while. We're located in the historic Albany Schoolhouse on the hill behind the library. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 8, Saturday and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Mammy's Country Kitchen, where every meal feels like home.
Looking to buy or sell a home in Southern Ohio? Turn to Howard Hanna Real Estate Services and the McNerlin Network team. We offer a full range of services including mortgages, insurance, and title services to ensure a smooth process. Our new Buy Borrow Bundle program can save buyers up to $10,000 at closing and attract more buyers when selling. Ready to get started? Call 740-702-6000 or text 614-607-8201 for a free consultation. Howard Hanna Real Estate Services, where your home happens here.
And we're back. You're listening to Football Friday Nights postgame brought to you by General Mills, broadcasting live from the Holzer Health System studio in Jackson. It's Eric, it's Bub, and it's Ethan Sargent here, wrapping up your Football Friday Night. We got about a half an hour left here. We're pushing it to 12:30 here in 740. I want to thank you if you're listening to us on any of our total media stations. I'll probably read them off one more time here in a little while, but boys and girls, I don't know if I got enough wind in my lungs to do it any more than that. Our dangerous engineer Justin's got us up and going on a number of different markets. So thank you if you're tuning in. We appreciate your ears this evening. Running down the 740. We just had an opportunity to talk with Trevin Pendleton. Guys, one of the hottest coaches in the area. The guy's doing all the right things. Bub, what was your kind of takeaway from hearing from Coach Pendleton from Ironton?
Well, I think the coolest thing is he was a guy that grew up around the same age that we were. You know, he was playing ball at Portsmouth West around the same time we were playing ball at Jackson. And it's really neat to see somebody at our age just already take the helm of such a good program and take it to such a level, you know, competing for a state championship 2 year or, you know, back-to-back years, and then, you know, potentially making a push for it this year as well. So it's just really cool to see somebody from the area take an area team to just a new level. Yeah,
I'm with you. Ethan, you had an opportunity to get a couple of questions in for for Coach Pendleton. Any thoughts you took away from that conversation?
Well, I loved his honesty on the Sean Terry play, because I don't think he was flubbing at all. I think that was very much just a straight, honest, and to the point answer of, that's just Sean Terry being Sean Terry. That's basically what he was saying. And that was an unbelievable play. There really wasn't many words for it, right? Obviously, that wasn't the play they drew up, but he made that happen, and that's the ability that he has when you have a guy like that in your backfield. But I do think the point he brought up next was important. He's trying to say that they want to get the ball in Sean Terry's hands in creative ways. We talked about that last week a little bit when we talked about the Ironton-Wheelersburg game. They are going to try and get the ball to him in a variety of different ways, including snapping the ball
and
directly
what better way to do it than putting it in his hands initially?
So it's going to be really interesting to see how they continue to get the ball. There was the one deep shot that when it started downpouring, they missed the deep shot by about a hair to Sean Terry. They're going to connect on a few of those this year. Once they get in a little bit more sync, I think that they're going to be a dangerous offense, especially because it wasn't just Terry tonight. Right. In fact, it was probably everybody. Terry really only had, I think, 2 touchdowns, and you say only, but he's
that good. He's that good.
He was that good, but it was a lot of different guys catching the balls and running the ball for Ironton, and that's terrifying.
And running the ball aggressively.
Number 24, I don't have his name.
Zane Williams.
Zane Williams. It was a guy and dropping the boom.
It was a guy that flew completely under. I didn't even discover who Zane Williams was until today, and that's probably my fault. I get it.
Well, there's so
I
many,
get it.
Just so much
they
talent
have
on that
so
team.
many weapons in Ironton. Going to be a dangerous team for everybody this year, and just going to be a tough time.
They're
for
a problem.
They're a handful for anybody in our region, in our area. Some other notable scores in the area this evening. Bub, a Waverly team I felt pretty hot on. Won 28-7. I'm really thinking big things about that Waverly team. Also, another team we haven't touched on a ton tonight, Fairland Dragons, another big win on the road. Bub, you still waiting to see if they're going to accept your apology or not.
We got
don't
10
know.
weeks.
They may.
And for Fairland, they might have more.
They may. Who knows? Waterford finally fell. A red-hot Waterford team fell to Caldwell, 26-14 tonight. And, Bub, you got something on that one.
Yeah, I know Caldwell had a pick 6 in that game, as well as Waterford being a little sloppy and having a good bit of penalties. So they're going to have to clean that up next week if they want to get back on the winning side of things.
I think so. I think so. And speaking of getting back on the winning side of things, Miami Trace did that one tonight, and a nice win at Wilmington.
Very impressive.
21-19. That's a great win for the Miami Trace Panthers. Kind of get the bad taste of the Waverly Tigers out of your mouth. Bounce back in week 2. Great win for that Miami Trace squad. Southeastern surprised me. Southeastern surprised me a lot. I thought they were going to take that game against Madison Plains. Fell 41-6 in Londonderry. Opening night. It's opening night. You're ready. They weren't ready. They weren't ready. Unfortunately, it was what it was. Amanda Clear Creek, one of the better wins of the evening over Udiogo, 27-21. That's a nice win. Another nice win is Chesapeake going into Minford and shutting out the Falcons. We talked about something's going on in Minford. We're not entirely sure what it is. We sent Bubba down today, but he came back with nothing other than a peanut butter milkshake from the dairy bar. More to come there. Rock Hill, nice win under Scott Miller. 2-0 under new head coach Scott Miller down there in Rock Hill, 35-6 over Sims Valley. Any other games you guys feel are important, you guys feel like we need to touch on, go ahead, but we're going to have to do it after another break. We got bills to pay around here, people. Football Friday Nights postgame brought to you by General Mills. We'll be right back.
Are you looking to make a difference in a child's life? At Necco Foster Care, we believe every child deserves a loving home. Join our community of caring families and provide a safe, nurturing environment for kids in need. With support and training every step of the way, you can be the change a child needs. Are you ready to open your heart and home? Contact Necco Foster Care today and make a lasting impact. Visit necco.org or call 740-263-2626. Together, we can create brighter futures. Necco, we build families.
Call on all hunters and outdoor enthusiasts. It's time to gear up for your next adventure with our buy one, get two free sale on select styles at Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. That's right, 3 pairs of boots for the price of one. Whether you plan to hit the deer woods this fall, need new hiking boots for the trails, or even a new pair of work boots, we've got you covered. So don't miss out. Stop and see us today at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come get fully set up for the fall at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
Trying to find a durable new look for your retail office, house, garage, or new barn dominium? Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding has added 2 new profiles within the past year that would make great options. A heavier 26-gauge metal board and batten with several colors to choose from adds a fresh new look to any project regardless of size. Or come in and check out our new options for standing seam. If it's steel roofing and siding, it comes from Higgins. Located in Hillsboro and Jackson, Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding, family owned and operated since 1958.
Football season is here. Keep your athletes at their best with Holzer in Athens. Dr. Jason Cox Orthopedics and Dr. Aaron Ramsey Chiropractic Care are currently accepting new patients. From follow-up care to injury repair, our healthcare team at Holzer Athens will keep your athlete in the game. Call 855-446-5937 to schedule your appointment today. That's 855-446-5937.
Are you age 55 plus and ready to make a difference in your community? COAD's AmeriCorps Senior Retired Senior Volunteer Program allows seniors age 55 and up who pass a background check to help with community-based services such as veteran services, disaster relief, and environmental care through local nonprofits. If this interests you, please contact Danielle Woodyard at 740-286-4918 or email dwoodyard@coadinc.org. COAD, the Corporation for Ohio Appalachian Development, is here to help you and the community.
Need new tires? Rick's Tire and Auto has you covered. Looking for top-notch auto service? Rick's Tire and Auto has expertise, and now they're bringing their A-game to Athens County. Owned by Rick Dieter, formerly of Huddle Tire in Athens. Rick's Tire and Auto Service is located at 1353 East Canal Street in Nelsonville, right off the first Nelsonville exit on 33 West. Stop in for a quick tire change or oil change, or schedule an appointment by calling 220-218-4169. At Rick's Tire and Auto, we have your vehicle covered.
And we're back. You're listening to Football Friday Night's post game, brought to you by General Mills on Total Media Sports Radio. We're broadcasted live from our Holzer Health System our Holzer Health System studio in Jackson. Thank you for being here with us this evening. We appreciate all of you. It sounds like we got a caller on the line. The world's most dangerous engineer, Justin's looking at me here, and we'll go ahead and get you to the line. Caller, can you hear us? Caller? I got nothing from our caller. It's probably about the Battle of 93. No cell service. Okay, whatever. We're going to keep it moving.
Battle of 93 has waged a great war tonight.
It has.
On the radio airwaves.
It has.
It really has.
It has.
Here we go.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
There we go.
Oh, good. Yeah, caller, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right, excellent. Who are we speaking with this evening?
Bo Burba.
Bo Burba. All right, Bo, thank you for calling. Where are you calling from this evening, Bo?
Going back to Trimble.
All right. Bo, what is the latest going on with the Trimble Tomcats?
A good victory tonight over Burn Union.
That is a nice victory.
Big win.
Big victory. I actually took Trimble to win this game. I'm not sure what the final was. I had 20-7. What was the final in this game?
I believe it was 46-13.
46. My score was off, but I had the Tomcats at heart. What'd you see from your Tomcats this evening?
Less mistakes, no muff punts, better blocking. Now, the personal foul penalties need to come down a bit. I mean, people need to keep their mouths shut.
Yep.
Don't need those extracurriculars.
Actually, I disagree to some degree. That's how I get paid, but we'll keep it moving. The players need to keep it shut. I'm with you on that. Got to clean up the penalties.
Yes, but other than that, nice team effort and a nice win.
Ultimately, what you're looking for is a Tomcat fan, right? Your guys rebound after a tough one in Bechtel last week. A good Buckeyes squad. I think that Buckeyes defense is stout. I think, I think that that loss was one of the better losses. I know you lost to the Buckeyes. I know you probably don't feel that way. One of the better losses, though, something I took a look at when I took Trimble. What are you looking ahead? What are you thinking of going forward if you're thinking of a successful year for your Trimble Tomcats? What are you looking at?
Just what we had tonight. You got to have good.
Keep it going.
Good line. Yeah, keep it going. You can always go as far as the line takes you.
I agree.
That's a great saying.
That's
right
a great saying. You just made my brother's entire night here. Of course, Bub was a lineman himself. Look for Coach Phil Fairs and the Tomcats to keep it going next week.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm really surprised at the Vinton County Circleville score.
That one got us a little bit too.
Along with Nelsonville, York, and Logan.
Yeah,
I will say
Logan pitching that shutout. 19-0.
The Route 33 rivalry. What was your takeaway as a Tomcats fan, as nice and as cordial as you can be towards Nelsonville for just a moment? What was your
I had Nelsonville by 10.
Wow.
So that's a big surprise.
I mean, did we all pick Nelsonville?
I took Logan.
You took Logan. Did you take?
I had Logan in tonight's matchup.
Yeah. So I was the only one that thought I thought the Buckeyes would win tonight, but that one was a stunner to me. There were a lot of stunners. Like the last 2 weeks,
it was interesting.
A lot
this
of dominoes falling in weird spots.
It was interesting this week. Well, Bo, we appreciate you calling. Are you back to Gloucester yet for the evening? Or are you calling it a night?
I'm about to get back into town.
All right.
But one more thing, I will say, Logan has not been the same since Dale Amick retired.
No, man. Pat Engel threw a ball by my face one time. I could hear the wind off of it. Easy touchdown to Mason Mays back in the day. That's no joke. Threw it right by my head. I agree with you. Dale Amick is a legend for the Chieftains.
Yeah, it's tough.
They haven't been the same. I agree with you, Bo. We're on the same page. Bo, anything else before we let you go this evening?
None, but I'll be calling in next week.
Bo, I can't wait for it. Thanks for calling in to Football Friday Night's post game here on Total Media Sports Radio. Have a great night. We'll hear from you next Friday.
Appreciate it.
You too.
All right, Bo. Appreciate you, brother. Again, broadcasting live from our Holzer Health System studio in Jackson. We're now to the point, boys and girls, where we're wrapping it up this evening. I think we got one more break to go, and we'll be right back. We got all the scores in the area to come. You won't want to miss it. Keep it right here. Total Media Sports Radio's Football Friday Night's postgame, brought to you by General Mills.
The General Mills Company of Wellston, manufacturers of great items like Totino's Pizza and Totino's Pizza Rolls, are proud to be a part of the Southern Ohio community. The General Mills Company, just like its hard-working employees in Southern Ohio, are proud supporters of our area youth. The General Mills Company wishes good luck to all area high school teams this season. A message from your friends at General Mills Company in Wellston.
Hey, it's me. Well, you from the future. Let's talk budget. Gas prices are going up, you blew your budget buying groceries, and here comes your bill for car insurance. Now, that's one bill you can control when you choose Erie Insurance.
Do your future self a favor and ask about Rate Lock from Erie.
The only thing going down is the waistline on our jeans. Yep, low rise are back in again.
Your Erie agent is McFadden Insurance. Get a quote today at McFadden-insurance.com.
Go to ErieInsurance.com for company licensure and product details.
Southeast Appalachian Regional Community Health of Ohio is proud to present The Search Project. The Search Project through the Jackson County Health Department is a program designed to decrease the negative impacts of COVID-19 and other public health issues and promote healthy behaviors through the deployment of community health work. The project is funded by CDC and serves 11 counties in southeastern Ohio. For more information, contact the Jackson County Health Department at 740-935-6322.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides a direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone in crisis. For 24/7 confidential support, just call, text, or chat 988. Brought to you by the Suicide Prevention Coalitions of Athens, Gallia, Jackson, Meigs, and Pike Counties.
Looking for a home away from home for your furry friend? Welcome to Red Woof Inn, where tails wag and dreams come true. At Red Woof, we offer spacious play areas, cozy naps, and personalized care from our dedicated team. Whether your pup loves fetch or just snuggling, we've got it covered. Our facilities are top-notch, and our staff are dog lovers through and through. From playtime adventures to treat-filled cuddle sessions, we ensure your pup has a blast. Give your dog a vacation they'll love at Red Woof Inn, located on Old Dixon Road in MacArthur. Call 740-649-8640 to book your fur baby stay while spots are still available.
Are you craving mouth-watering, finger-licking barbecue that'll have you coming back for more? Look no further than Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, where real wood and real flavor rules supreme. Sink your teeth into our signature smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and juicy brisket, all slow cooked to perfection with our secret blend of spices. And don't forget our delectable sides. From creamy mac and cheese to tangy coleslaw, there's something to satisfy every craving. Come visit us at our location in the Plains or online. Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, real wood, real flavor.
And we're back here. It's Football Friday Night's postgame brought to you by General Mills. We're broadcasting live from the Holzer Health Systems studios. Want to give a special thanks to all of our listeners real quick one last time for the evening. Pure Rock 105, WXTQ FM, Pure Rock 99.5, BYG FM, Mix 96, WKOV 100.9, Hank FM, 100.1, WXZQ FM, 92.1, WYVK, Middleport Pomeroy. Thank you all so much for lending us your ears this evening. We got a late one. Let's go ahead and wrap it up with all of the scores in the area, followed by our final thoughts here. Alexander beat Sciotaville East yesterday 21-0. I shouldn't say yesterday of today. Now we're after midnight here. Yeah. It's Saturday here. Ironton dominated Jackson this evening, unfortunately, at Alumni Stadium for my heart, but the Tigers get it done 51-14 on the hill. Logan at Nelsonville York, the Chieftains get it done 19-0. Athens takes a nice victory at Gallia Academy 55-6. Meigs falls to Fairfield Union 48-6. Crooksville, the Ceramics get it done at Racine Southern 27-20. Wellston knocks off Piketon at home. Home opener at C.H. Jones Field 34-28. We got a new final on that one. I didn't have it corrected just yet. Thanks to our help there. Vinton County fell to Circleville this evening 35-14. Oak Hill got their first win of the year, first win of the 2 years in overtime against Fairfield Christian 35-28. Waverly beat Zane Trace 28-7. Eastern Beaver went into Huntington Township, got it done 34-7. Fairland on the road at Point Pleasant. Unknown Point Pleasant team. Fairland, no problem. 30-13. River Valley falls at South Gallia. The clash for the county is what they call that one, boys and girls, just to throw that one at you real quick. In Crown City, 42-7. The Rebels take the victory there. Fort Fry puts up the high on the night, 72 points against Belpre at home. Eastern Meigs takes a nice victory against Wirt County, 47-16. Trinity Christian and Fedhawk, no contest there, at least up to this point, due to injury. The young man who was under injury, or who had the injury, is okay at this point. Trimble, nice win at Burn Union. Shout out to Bo for calling and giving us his thoughts. 46-13 there. You'll sleep fine in Gloucester. Caldwell at Waterford, 26-14. Caldwell gets it done over a red-hot Waterford squad. London at Chillicothe, 42-0 for the London squad. Hillsborough gets a nice win over Goshen, 32-7. McLean at home in their home opener gets it done over Northwest, 19-13. That's in overtime as well. Hard-fought victory. Miami Trace at Wilmington, 21-19. Nice win for the Panthers on the road. Western Brown at Washington Courthouse. Western Brown puts up a ton of points, 56-22. They get the job done there. West Jefferson in Bainbridge at Paint Valley. Paint Valley looks to be a red-hot team in that SVC. 28-14. They get it done in Bainbridge. Do the Bearcats. Madison Plains at Southeastern, 41-6. Madison Plains gets it done. Unioto at Amanda Clear Creek, one of our surprise outings of the night. Amanda Clear Creek, the Aces, 27-21. They get it done. Westfall falls to Logan Elm, 42-14 at Logan Elm. Chesapeake shuts Minford out at Minford, 42-0. Cold Grove gets their first victory of the year against Valley, 30-16. Portsmouth knocks off Portsmouth West 41-7. Rock Hill gets their second win under head coach Scott Miller against the Sims Valley Vikings 35-7. Spring Valley knocks off South Point 55-20. Wheelersburg takes a second tough loss of the year at Archbishop McNicholas in Cincinnati. They fall to the Rockets 34-30. Grove City Christian at Green goes into the furnace and shuts out Green 45-0. John Marshall falls to Marietta 10-0. Is that the right score on my end? 10-0.
Yeah.
I love it, baby. I love a 10-0 game. And finally, our final game of the night, Morgan falls to Warren. Warren Warriors win 24-21. Boys and girls, I'd love to hear your final thoughts. That's enough for my voice for the evening. Bub, before we toss it over to Ethan, what are your final thoughts on 7-4 football this evening?
My initial thoughts are 19 out of the 36 games, the away team won tonight. So that home field advantage in the 7-4, I really need to start picking up.
I'd say I like that. I wouldn't have known that. It's over half. That's a lot of away teams going on the road to tough environments and getting the job done. I like that. I have a couple of takeaways. Number one, Athens is for real. We need to stop pretending they're not. This is a team that can absolutely run the table and go 10-0. And next week, if they get by next week and they beat Marietta, I think they're looking real good. Potentially go 10-0. And 10-0, this is the crazy thing. And I saw this stat on Drew Pasteur the other day, the wizard that he is, putting all these numbers into his system and his model. There is a realistic world where Athens goes 10-0, unbeaten, and does not host a home playoff.
That's crazy.
There is a world.
In an expanded playoff.
Because they're in Region 11, which is so brutal. We have well documented it. It is insane. But Athens are for real. They're gonna make teams sweat this year, and they could absolutely win a playoff game or two for sure. That's a team to keep an eye on. I am also keeping my eye very closely on Logan Elm. That is a really good football team. 2 impressive wins in back-to-back weeks. I'm very interested to see where they go. And an MSL that, again, like we said earlier, looks wide open. Bloom Carroll lost tonight. That is anybody's conference. And then will the real Wheelersburg please stand up? They are 0-2.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna find out a lot.
Yeah. Maybe week 4.
Yeah, we're gonna. I was just about to get into that. We're about to find a lot out about Wheelersburg next week. We've seen that Jackson can hit the high highs, and they're coming off a tough loss as well. We're gonna learn a lot about both of those teams.
They got
big
lots to
matchup next week between Wheelersburg and Jackson.
I'll tell you what, man. You talked about that D3 Region 11. Let's talk about just a couple of teams in that region before we get out of here for the night. Jackson, Bloom Carroll, Circleville. Athens playing great football right now. Granville's always something to be said. Marietta playing phenomenal defense. Tri-Valley's always Tri-Valley. Steubenville's in that region now, keep in mind. They bounce back and forth. Sheridan, Warren, and of course, you got some other teams in that region. Those are just teams that we cover.
Yeah.
Those are just the teams we cover.
Yep.
There's tough region, man.
Very tough
to come out of there. What I learned this evening, Ironton is head and shoulders the best team in Southeast Ohio. It's not close to me at this point. If you're on the Ironton football schedule, you're on the clock. I mean, that's all I can say about that. It really is. It's that simple. Ironton's for real. I saw an Alumni Stadium that was ready, but I felt like Alumni Stadium was ready for the Ironton Tigers when I got there. I had chills leaving Alumni Stadium this evening. Jackson's down. Yep. And, again, I a little bit biased towards the Ironman. But, hey, and I had chills leaving. I took a picture of it because I was like, no one's going to believe me. Football's back. But Ironton, football's been around for a long time, and it's going to ride high in Ironton. Another takeaway that I've got, Waverly's for real. I think Waverly makes the step forward in the SOC. It's Waverly and Berg.
I don't know. The snaps up.
I don't know.
They had a lot of bad snaps in tonight's game. Well, actually, both teams did. But, yeah, if Waverly can just keep the snaps consistent, they're going to be perfectly fine.
Yep. And the next thing I learned, I love high school football. I love everything about it. I love that it doesn't matter if you push it back. Everyone's going to rally together and ultimately make things happen. We saw Rio Grande football tonight. They're starting their young season.
Yep.
Shout out to our good friends at the University of Rio Grande. Ran into Quincy Williams. He stopped by. Shout out to Holzer for bringing us some refreshments. Dr. Kelly Roush brought us all the quenchers, bub. Or squinchers, they're called. Squinchers. Yes. Best popsicle I've ever had. So shout out to our friends at Holzer. Football's back. 7-4 football. Southern Ohio football. It's a community. It really, really is. And at the end of the night, we all celebrate high school football. We appreciate you being here. Any final thoughts from you guys before we get out of here?
I'm all good.
I'm all good. Another awesome week in the books. Next week should be just as fun. It's going to be a really exciting week.
I would like to go ahead and say I appreciate the efforts of all of the Total Media team. I wish the people that listen to our shows and listen to what we this is the easy part of all of this, but the effort that goes on behind the scenes with our crew and with the people running around this place on Fridays to make sure these things happen. Folks, it's real and we love it and we're here for it. So to all of our sponsors, to anyone listening, help us out. We want to grow it and we want to make it better. Big thanks to our friends at General Mills. Football Friday Nights presented by General Mills. Big thanks to our friends at Holzer for letting us broadcast in such an awesome studio, the Holzer Health System studio in Jackson. We'll see you next Friday night. Ethan's going to kick off Football Friday Night pregame at, well, we'll tell you here in a little while. We'll see you next Friday night.
This has been General Mills Football Friday Night. It was brought to you by Adventure Pro Outdoors, Coad, General Mills, Higgins Steel Roofing, Holzer, Jackson County Health Department Search Program, Necco Forest Care, Red Wolf Inn, Rocky Boots, Suicide Prevention, and brought to you locally by Austin Powder, Mammy's Country Kitchen, McFadden Insurance, Nick Station, Rick's Tire and Auto, Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, and Rogers Plumbing and more.
Broadcasting from the Holzer Health System studios with 2 locations in Athens. Southeast Ohio's hometown rock station is Pure Rock 105 WXTQ, Athens, USA. A Total Media station.